Hello everybody, and welcome. I am Cancroso. This is Europa Universalis freaking 5. Oh yes, finally, it is here. Thank you so much for joining me for my first ever campaign. I have played a tiny bit on the previous build of this game, like 3 hours or something, barely unpaused, and let's get straight into it. We are on 0.9.1. This is the first build that we non-sponsored influencer types are allowed to record on. And I think we're going to start as Castile. Castile is the game that I have had some of the most fun playing EU4. I think it's going to let us experience the new colonization mechanics pretty well, while still having some influence in Europe. I considered Portugal. Portugal was the first country I played in EU4. So there is a certain nostalgic desire to play as Portugal, but I think Castile will allow us to be a bit more of an active player in European power struggles. So I think Castile it is. Here is Alfonso the 11th de Iviera. If I pronounced that remotely right, we've got 5.4 million people, a tax base of 149, 3,000 army size. Although this, I don't know how this number is calculated because it's wildly wrong in my experience. It says that Morocco can levy 13,000 while we can levy 3. But if you actually levy the men, you get like 30,000. So I don't know how any of this works yet. We're still working it out. But without further ado, is this development or locations? It's locations. 244 locations. Okay. Without further ado, let's dive straight in, but not quite yet. Let me just get my preset set up. So you can't swap around. Historical AI, normal difficulty, missions are unlocked. And let's go with Western country colonization. And I'm curious to see how the game plays with the two. We'll switch that up in a future one, but you can convert. The Black Death comes out. Dynamic institution spawn. This is called the Eastern Roman Empire, which should just really be Roman Empire because there's no Western Roman Empire. Shut up, HRE. Save those. I've already got those saved, obviously. Right. Castile. Rock and roll. Here we go. Okay, so what do we do first? We go through all these tabs and we go through all these alerts and we figure out what the heck's going on. That's my plan, at least. I've read like a fifth of the Tinto talks and all the dev diaries, so I have some grounding from that. And as I said, I've poked around a bit. This is going to be something of a tutorial series in that I'm going to be tutorializing myself and you can learn along with me. Let's dive into it. So first off, we've got locking tooltips, and by default you can have the hover feature, but you can also middle click to instantly lock them. Excuse me. It is, but yeah, it's got the normal thing where if you go off for even a second, it kills. Okay, is there a setting that we can use to change that? Yes. Unlock delay. Maybe 0.1 seconds will feel a bit better. What do we think? It seems like it still unlocks almost immediately. Anyway, not a big deal. Government. Oh, there's so much. There's so much to talk about. There's so many features. It really, my initial impressions, it really feels like it's just EU4 but better in so many ways. There's so many things about it that really feel like they've brought lots of the best parts of AO and taxes, and it's so cool. So here are our estates. Power is a zero-sum gain. So we want to try and ideally diminish the power of the estates and buff up the crown, but potentially we want to buff up the burghers or the burgaista. Burger Essia? I don't know. What's this? Oh yeah, right. The states like and dislike different states. They really don't like the Sultanate of Delhi, which we apparently know about. That's interesting. Where's my... I thought we had vision on China at the start. Maybe that was only in previous patches. Interesting. What are these? It's loyalty of the Delhi's subjects. Okay. Oh my god, there's so much. There's so much. Okay. So... we could consider, we can bribe the estates, gives them a lot of money. It varies, presumably based on their current wealth. You make 63 income, you make 41, you make 16. Is that roughly proportional? Somewhat. You make 30. Yeah, that seems roughly proportional. So bribing them based on their income, they get some estate satisfaction, which is this value here. And then you can also see it up here as the bar, and then the percents are the amount it's changing per month. I believe it's month, yeah. So I think actually the place I want to start is in values. So this is one of the new features, and it's really cool. Basically, there are a whole bunch of values that determine the state of your state, your society. And these change over time based on various different things. One of the big ones is estate privileges. And we are going to be, trying to build a society that matches our goals, and there are impacts, and they're, maxed out at each end of the scale. In the middle, I believe they have no value. It's kind of interesting that there's no middle value. Like maybe it would make sense for the middle value to have some impact as well. But anyway, so what are we going to want to do? And this is just off the top of my head, but I feel like we're going to want to centralize. If we look at centralization versus decentralization, if to get both the tooltips, we can go in here, I think. Yes, here we go. So centralization gives more crown power, but more maximum more exhaustion, lower proximity costs, which is like travel time in mayo and taxes, for those of you familiar with travel time. Counter-espionage, but then if you have decentralization, the estates are happier, you get less war exhaustion, subjects are more loyal, but worse counter-espionage. It really feels like centralization is the way to go. So we're going to want to try and centralize. Traditionalist versus innovative. And I realize I'm just kind of diving in here, but I haven't got an overarching plan. I haven't got a grand scheme. We're just gonna try and take it as it comes, basically. So traditionalist versus. There must be a better way to get to. Do I really have to go 2 tooltips deep every time to see this summary? Maybe there's a better place to see it. Traditionalists make institutions more expensive. You get more cultural tradition. This is your defense against being culturally converted, and also your defense against various other things. Right, I had to step away for a second to take a phone call. Sorry, and I think I should actually take a step back for a second. Let's talk a bit more about values in general before we start talking about which of these seem better. This is, in part, there are other things that do it as well, but in part, a replacement for idea groups. This is where you derive a lot of your bonuses from in the game. And unlike idea groups, they're not maximally gamified. You don't just pick, hey, I want that one, that one, and that one, and then you get them, and you get them over time. In this one, you got to work for it. You got to earn them. If you want to be a spiritualist, you got to behave like it. You got to have laws and reforms that make you more spiritual rather than humanist. And there are trade-offs, there are consequences, there are costs, and it's so good. I think it's probably coming across. I'm really excited about EU5. This seems so cool. Okay, so let's keep looking. So traditionalist versus innovative. Seems clear that innovative is better to me. You get more max literacy, more cultural influence. Now, cultural influence, unlike cultural tradition, is your offensive. That's your ability to convert. It's also your ability to do some other stuff. I forget what the other impacts cultural influence are. Cultural influx impacts the cultural influence. Yes. So my first main complaint about EU5 so far. I'm going to make that mistake a lot, I'm sure. Nested tooltips are good, but they can be a crutch. This is idiotic. Why am I seeing cultural influence, cultural influence, cultural influence? They can be used as a crutch rather than designing a more intuitive way to present information. Generally speaking, they're really good. Okay. How powerful a culture is in the context of culture war. And culture war is assimilation, integration, spy networks, diplomacy, and even siege. Winning the culture war is very important. Oh boy, I know a YouTuber. It's gonna love that. Anyway, it's monthly increase completed by works of art, prestige, buildings, advances, laws. So by building a powerful culture, you will be able to do all kinds of things more easily. That's awesome. That's wicked. That's so cool. It's going to mean that you really feel like you've actually built something, substantial. It's not just, I got a bigger army than you. It's, I have developed a more sophisticated, more powerful culture, and it will subsume yours. Glorious. It's glorious. So I feel like we want to push towards innovative. It makes stability more expensive. It makes traditions way easier to embrace. 6 times cheaper to embrace than compared to max tradition, because max tradition it would be 300%, whereas here it would be 50%. Crazy difference. Breathe, Christo, breathe. So we're going to try and push towards innovative. Right now we're moving 0.1 each month towards innovative because we have some nice works of art. We have a free thinking monarch, Because, yeah, monarch traits, new thing. Oh, no, they had monarch traits in EU4 now, I think about it, actually. But yeah, so we're going to go centralized, innovative. I know, very, very bold steps so far. Spiritualist versus humanist. So spiritualist lets you convert more, but harder to assimilate people. Humanist lets you convert less, but lets you assimilate more people. And then also there's less impact of antagonism when you have better humanism, and there's more impact on religious antagonism when you have this. What's antagonism, you ask? Antagonism is bad boy or aggressive expansion, and you will note that if we check our relations with Granada, where do I see it? Maybe we use the antagonism map mode, which I assume exists. This is really cool, by the way. This new map mode interface, I think, is pretty good. I do wish it locked these buttons in place. I don't really like appearing and disappearing buttons, especially because it's not just the buttons that appear. The whole thing reappears in front of them. Weird. Anyway, probably moddable. Probably. In fact, maybe I could mod that. It'd be fun to have some mods ready before the game comes out. But anyway, diplomat modes, antagonism. So you can see that Granada already has 13.5 antagonism. If this goes over 50, they can join a coalition. Coalitions work a new way. It's very cool. What's this? Do I have none towards you? So I have blue is none, and then I assume it goes towards red. You really don't like me because of differing government type. Interesting. We have none towards Athens. Why not? Surely you're in a different language family? Hey, Athens, what language are you speaking? Country. No, they speak Catalan down there in Athens. I guess that's a legacy of the, was it 13th Crusade that screwed up the Ottomans? I mean the Romans, sorry. Yeah, it's interesting. I didn't know that. Athens was speaking Catalan. And Catalan, of course, is in our, sorry, it's a culture Catalan, which is in the Iberian culture group. Yeah. Interesting, interesting. Anyway, so antagonism is aggressive expansion. If it goes over 50, then they can join a coalition. And being in a different religion group or a foreign language family or a differing government type or differing social values, societal values rather, increases antagonism, which is a really interesting mechanic. It means that you're going to see coalitions form amongst people that have other reasons to hate you more quickly, which makes lots of sense and is cool. So yes, going humanist would reduce that, but I think spiritualist is going to be the way to go. It's going to be more important that we maintain people being Catholic than people being Spanish, I think. But we'll investigate. The impacts of religious disharmony versus social disharmony is going to be really interesting, because without social harmony, without them being at least integrated, you can't core land, which is crazy. So, I mean, that's going to be really impactful. Having uncore land is less impactful than EU4, though, so I think. So we're probably going to go spiritualist, because I think I'm picturing a campaign where we try and dominate the Western Mediterranean while preparing for colonization. So I'm thinking we want to try and, get some control here, especially big ports and things across the Berber coast. So probably spiritualist. Aristocracy versus plutocracy. Okay, I can guess what that's going to do. Plutocracy makes burghers more powerful. Aristocracy makes nobles more powerful. Aristocracy gives you higher expected costs of court. We'll get into cost of court. It's a good system. It's a very good system. It reminds me of Mayor and Taxes 2.5, or 2.0 actually. You'll have to excuse me, I have some lemsip. My voice, it's holding up so okay so far. I can't believe I'm ill the first day I'm allowed to record EU4. It's so annoying, but oh well. So yes, increases cost of court, increases discipline. This increases trade efficiency and decreases cost of court. Wow, that's pretty powerful. This 2% is additive, bear in mind. And then you get more nobles in towns and cities if you have aristocracy dominant, and more burghers. Remember, it's a sliding scale. So right now we're 40 towards aristocracy. Now, what's interesting is, because we have a monthly push of 0.27, we can only go 0.27, and in fact, it tells us it's 0.2709. Or in this case, which lets us go to 27.09. So there are limits to how far in one direction you can go with a limited number of. It's not like you're just going to eventually end up right at the extremes of whichever way you're being pushed, unless you can get up to a whole 1 per month. So we have land rights and crown, which is a estate privilege, and Crown of Castile, which is a government reform. So it's going to be kind of difficult for us to go towards plutocracy. But I think early on, having more nobles, not too bad. So that's those. Ideally, we probably would want plutocracy, But there's yeah, and then this is one of the good things. It does tell you here's all the things you could do to further push aristocracy. It doesn't seem to say here's all the things you could do to push plutocracy, which is interesting. Maybe if I hover plutocracy, no, interesting. We can also use the cabinet, and we'll get into the cabinet. So serfdom versus free subjects. I feel like this is going to be a slam dunk for free subjects. You can tax the peasants more on serfdom, lots more. You can tax them less on free subjects, but free subjects gets a 20% swing on peasant food consumption, and they promote way faster, and you get more prosperity. Prosperity is pretty strong. It increases the development, which is like the kind of overall, I mean, yeah, think of it as like a tech level, per province tech level, basically. It improves everything. Pop promotion speed is also good. That's how fast peasants will turn into burghers and clergy and nobles. But yeah, it could be good. It's currently going quite quickly towards that because of hunting permits, which is a state privilege on the commoners, looks like. Yeah, it means you get more wild game output. The nobles don't love it, but you get more free subjects. Also makes them happier, but also makes them more powerful. Free mobility. This seems really good because you want your pops to be where there's work, right? If I've decided to build up a new port down here in near Gibraltar Way, which we will end up doing, by the way, because if we look at natural harbour suitability, oh, this has changed since the last patch. Cool, good. Previously, Seville had no decent natural harbour, which seemed unrealistic. So yeah, Cadiz probably will be the one we'll build up. So we'll want to build a port in Cadiz because it's got this really nice port building cost reduction because it's a nice natural harbour. And therefore we're going to want people to migrate to Cadiz, right? In order to populate it. Ooh, it's a marsh. Wetlands. We might not want to do that. Then maybe we will focus on Seville because it's this nice flat land. Well, all these things we'll get into. So different terrain and things. Natural harbours making you think about where you build stuff. It's so freaking cool. But anyway, let's keep looking at our social values here. So yeah, we'll probably do want free subjects, which we're already trending towards. It can only go at most 25 towards free subjects, but we can potentially give them some more rights. It'll be, I think, yeah, how hard do we go in favor of modernizing the state early is a big question because it's going to annoy the nobles, and the nobles provide a lot of our decent levies and stuff right now, so it's going to be difficult. Belligerent versus conciliatory. This is a really interesting one. I talked about this in my dev diary video. Conciliatory makes your cabinet, which is like your council in CK2, more effective. Your subjects more loyal, way more diplo rep, but makes you take more aggressive expansion when you take land. And it makes it slower to make CBs. Now, I haven't seen how long it takes to make CBs, so I don't know how impactful that is, but more aggressive expansion when you take land if you're trying to be conciliatory, because they're like, you fooled us, you hoodwinked us. So it's going to be interesting. Meanwhile, belligerent tanks your diplo rep, but lower war score cost and less antagonism by taking land, 50% less. So it's going to be really interesting which side of that scale we go. I mean, it feels like belligerent lets you grow faster, obviously, right? But at some point, is growing faster a good idea because of the scaling costs associated with more land? We'll get into it. So probably want to go, I don't know, we're currently moving quite quickly towards conciliatory. Being towards conciliatory probably does make sense because we're not going to be taking land fast, I think. We've got a lot of developing our homeland to do before we really need to be rapidly expanding. Quality versus quantity. I assume this just works as you would expect. Army costs more, but it's better. Yep. Army costs less. Oh, possible frontage up is interesting. That effectively means you can actually put 25% more combat attacking at once. Wait, isn't that crazy? 25% possible frontage? Doesn't that beat the crap out of this? Well, it depends how good military tactics are. Reduces damage taken by 0.1 though. What does 0.1 mean? I assume it's quite a lot, but literally you could, I mean, doesn't this make your men, assuming you have more men than there is frontage, which is like combat width, doesn't this make our armies 25% stronger? More than 25% stronger because it will divide the losses Between more people, you get concentration of force. Quantity seems crazy. Interesting. Interesting. I feel like quantity is the play. 25% frontage. Now, army initiative is important. That's basically how quickly your units enter combat, I believe. Yeah, the chance of combat will engage during the combat phase. Every hour, assuming there's enough frontage, all the regiments not currently engaged will attempt to join the fray. They have a 2% chance, which increases by 2% every hour they're in combat. Makes sense. Sorry, they have initiative times 2% chance, plus 2% for every hour in combat. But just having 25% more people in combat seems bonkers strong. Because, I mean, if you picture it, if you had, if it's a 4v4 and that goes to a 5v4, now each of your 5 units are taking 20% less damage, and each of their units are taking 20% more damage. That's an insane swing. Whoops. Sorry. I was trying to close a Twitch stream and I started playing it instead. That's an insane swing in terms of the amount of damage that you're doing and taking. I think quantity is what we want there. Offense versus defense. Offense gives army movement speed, but 50% less fort defense. Wow, that's impactful. 10% lower siege ability, less antagonism when declaring war without a CB, and more assault ability. Defense gives slower army speed, but 50% more fort defense. I assume fort defense is length of sieges. Yeah. Combat speed, 10%. Fort limit up. Ooh, there's a fort limit. Interesting. I had no idea. And then fortification maintenance is also down on defensive. Okay. Well, I mean, 10% siege is a lot less than 50% defense, but I feel like if you're likely to be attacking more than defending as the player. Land versus naval. So land gives you maximum resource gathering operation size. That's like how you get your primary resources. Proximity through land, trade used over land, trade range used over sea. So how does trade over sea? This gives maritime presence up, trade use over land, way up, trade use over sea. So I feel like once you're big, naval's better. When you're small, land is better, right? When you're nice and concentrated through one land area, but once you're a sprawling empire, you want to go more naval. Would make sense to me. Now, capital versus traditional. This is the classic, another classic modernization play, basically. Traditional economy gives more raw output, more food output, more population capacity, but capital economy gives cheaper food and then more production efficiency. So once you move to a more industrialized economy, you want to be making more of a capital economy. How quickly are we swinging right now? 0.33, that's quite a bit. So we're currently at 90. So is it going to tick backwards towards 33 because that's our cap? Maybe not. Maybe if you start above your cap, you're allowed to stay there. Now, individualism versus communalism. Individualism gives you unhappier estates, but better army and naval morale, and pops migrate faster. Communalism gives cheaper to revoke privileges, way cheaper. The estates are happier, so it's a 7.5% swing. Pops migrate slower though. And join rebel threshold down. The impacts, the pop satisfaction of pop has to be below to join rebels. So that's a bad thing, right? That should be red. Because the lower pop join rebel threshold means they can join it sooner. No. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. Because if they're under a number, yeah. So if the base threshold is 10%, if they're at 10, they won't join it. But if you take this, then it goes down. The threshold is now 5%. Now they will join it. Okay. Yeah, communism seems pretty good, honestly. The only problem is the migration speed, but we'll have to see how quickly people feel like they migrate around to see how big of a deal that is. And those are our governments. Now you might think, cool system, but it gets better because as tech unlocks, you unlock more of them. Very cool, very cool. In fact, we can take a look here. The tech tree. Now I'm skeptical about the tech tree. I don't know about this. Oh, hey, it's changed. Since have they put religion on the right? They have. Oh, they've changed the order of stuff since in the last patch. Cool. I'm not sure about this. I think it's going to be cool, but it's a very front-loaded skill test, basically. Like, I feel like I have to read all these, and there's a lot of them. Especially when you think about the fact that there's 6 friggin' ages. But anyway, you can see that new ones unlock new things. So, Age of Traditions, well, of course that unlocks stuff, but new government reforms. No, those aren't what I'm thinking of. Is it institutions that unlock new things, or is it techs? Unlocks national assemblies. That's a reform. Well, somewhere in here you can unlock. I'm pretty sure it's somewhere in here. You can unlock new government, new social values. I can't remember. Where. Anyway, so that's the values. Now, what do we do to start moving these values? We play with our states. So what do we want? We want more centralization. We want more free peasants. We want more innovation. Those are the main things. So let's see what we can do to achieve that. And giving out privileges makes the other estates unhappy, so we don't want to go overboard. Also, we're not that stable. Stability is 0 to 100, by the way. I don't know if it can actually be 0. Maybe it's 1 to 100. Okay, so clergy. You must have something that's going to push me towards making us more innovative, perhaps. Cannot produce universities. Interesting. That seems like a terrible idea. More monthly religious influence. God, there's so much. There's so much to handle. That's interesting. Less culture capacity. Cultural capacity is what you use to tolerate and accept other cultures, but faster pop assimilation. More conciliatory, more spiritualist. This seems like quite a good one. Gives them 25% more power though, but 5% cabinet efficiency and more spiritualist. It's pretty nice. It's pretty nice. They really don't have anything that gives innovation. Okay. Here we go though. More tolerance of the true faith. Not much, but some. Tolerance of the true faith. Does that work how it used to? Is 1 tolerance of the true faith minus, like, +1? I guess it would be +1 satisfaction, because unrest is calculated different. Oh, there's no unrest calculation as far as I know now. It's like, hey, you clerics. Well, I think a gender impact for clergy modifies the support that the parliamentary genders that proposals from the clergy has. Interesting. We'll get into how that works later. I think possible clerics in towns and cities up 100. That's pretty good. It's only 10 power as well. Because right now, if we look at our cities, as far as I understand it, early on, you just want more nobles, more clergy, more everything. Later on, maybe you want less nobles, less clergy, more burghers, but early on, I feel like you just want more of everything. And if we look at our clergy in the capital right now, there is a limit, right? 899 people live here. Wait, 749 out of that? Oh, that's how many are available for employment, right? But if we look, where's the limit defined? Okay, I was misreading this. I thought that was the limit, was 899. How do I see what the... Ooh, it's interesting. Show me where clerics live around my country with all the numbers. And this just looks like the numbers mason. This is so incomprehensibly messy, this map mode. How do I tell how many clerics there are allowed to be? Here we go. Okay, maximum of 1,000 here. Okay, so that privilege gives a 10% boost to the number of clerics, basically assuming the modifiers are roughly the same everywhere, which I'm sure they won't be, nationally. That's crazy, right? That's crazy. Ooh, and spiritualist is giving a 50% buff to the number of clerics. Now, do I want more clerics? They don't pay taxes. They're more literate, though, than most people, which seems advantageous. Oh, and here's the conversion happening. Cool. Yeah, the average literacy of clerics is increasing the rate of conversion and the rate of assimilation. Interesting. But yeah, do we want more clerics? Surely I'd rather have more. But the thing is, turning a peasant into a cleric, I feel like it's got to be a good thing. Even if they pay no taxes, because they're helping with literacy. I guess they're not actually helping with conversion, because you could just have more literate, less clerics, and your conversion and assimilation rates would be the same, which doesn't really make any sense now I think about it. Surely if clerics are helping with the assimilation, you want more clerics. What's this, by the way? 3 out of 6 levels of wine production. There's so much to take in. Okay. I think we definitely want to centralize. Great works of faith. It's going to give them 33% more power. Right now they're at 21. How many modifiers are there on this already, by the way? 3. So obviously it's not actually 32% more power, it's much less. But yeah, but we can't tax them because we're Catholic. I will do this. No better way to display our magnanimity and strength and faith than to our major works dedicated to purity of divinity. Cool. Now, does it instantly adjust this? No. I assume when we unpause, it might instantly do it, or maybe it will happen over time. So obviously that's annoyed other people, especially the nobles. So let's see what we can give the nobles to try and cheer them up. Stability decay down would be nice. How high is stability decay? Excuse me. Right now it's a base of 5%. I assume that, yeah, okay. So that's, I mean, that's not a huge reduction, is it? 0.02. What does that give you effectively? That's a net +4 stability. Like on your resting equilibrium, if you don't know what that means, search YouTube. I've done a video on it. Your resting equilibrium goes up by 4 by taking this. That's not bad. 50% power though. All the noble ones seem to give them bonkers power. 2 stability here in exchange for just a little bit of stability decay. Block lowborn commanders makes the burghers and things less happy. Here's one. Innovative. Artist salary down. And 2% happier on them. I think we do want to try and push innovative. This is costing us legitimacy, by the way. That's what that crown represents. Right now we're getting 0.21. Also increases our crown power. Yeah, let's do that for innovative. Okay, now the burghers are unhappy, but both of these guys are pretty chuffed because they've just got all these bonuses. What do we want to give the burghers? Capital economy, it's too early to go capital economy. The thing is, it feels like if you can't get into your side, you want to push as hard as you can in either direction, right? There's no sense going down the middle because, well, unless the negatives are so bad that you don't want them, I guess. But less tax the burghers estate, but less inflation and less innovative. Now, this seems really good. And let's take this real quick and then take a look at the budget screen, because this is why I think that's good. That didn't actually change how much we were taxing the burghers, because we were already taxing them less than the max. So doing that seems beneficial. Right, and the fact they're happy is giving us more monthly research. Nice. So then let's take a look at this before we go back to doing. We're probably going to do, well, we shouldn't let our legitimacy get too low, should we? Maybe we should take a pause on giving stuff out. But let's take a look at all this. What does this do? Hide unused. Because we have no interest or buildings abroad and so on. Makes sense. Okay, so minting. Just printing cash. Right now, we get minus 0.15 inflation. Inflation currently changes by minus 0.75 due to those do not sum to minus 0.75. But anyway, we can mint more without causing inflation. So let's mint until inflation is balanced. There we go. Nice. And yeah, making silver and gold causes inflation, but we can print some money. Now we could tax the nobles more. And you'll see that if we tax them 12%, it's going to make them real unhappy. Is this an instant change to their unhappiness, by the way? No. Okay. Now, I guess what we want to do is tax them precisely however much is going to not change their loyalty, right? Not lower their loyalty. Does that make sense? Automate tax rate to make the satisfaction at least 50%. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Let's do that. Because then, but maybe I want it to be higher than 50. You should be able to change this number. I should be able to go in here and say, hey, tweak it to be something else. But yeah, let's do that. Let's tax it so that they're at 50. As you can see, yes, not allowed to tax the clergy because we're Catholic. Can I see the modifiers there if I go into minimum tax? No. Yeah, here it is. Maximum tax minus 100% because of Catholicism. And interestingly, it's not. This is kind of lying because it's not 100% plus 30 plus 5 plus 0.8. It's actually just none. You can't tax them. Got to dissolve those monasteries, you know. So burghers. Yeah, we're already doing that. So I think we probably do. The same here. And then we're currently taxing them as much as we can. Now the thing is, do I want to tax the peasants less? No, wait. Do they spend money? The question is, do these estates spend money in a way that I want them to spend it, or would I rather have the money? The answer's got to be I'd rather have the money. Partly because I want more influence. Even if they would use it better, I want more influence just so that I can experience influencing the game systems. But I think, basically, the state is the one that meaningfully spends money to improve your nation. I think the burghers are the exception, but basically, the more money I have, the better I'm going to be able to make the nation. I'm going to be able to spend it more effectively than the estates, I think. Okay. So that's balance. And that's why, yeah, these max taxes I'm not too worried about, because we didn't really want to raise the burgher tax by very much anyway. I don't want to give out any more. I don't want to drop our legitimacy too much, but let's just take a look at some of these. Yeah, they're going to want decentralization generally, aren't they? Makes sense. I could do... Commoners in Parliament? That could be interesting. Hmm. 50% power is a lot, though. No labor on Sunday. 5% raw materials output, but they're just chuffed. It's kind of cool. I think we're okay. I think we're okay on that right now. Yeah. Okay. Now the crown we haven't got. We've already got 2 reforms. We've got this feudal nobility, which is making subjects more loyal, moving towards traditional economy. We can remove it, but it costs 20 stability. Can I see what other reforms would be available to me? It looks like I can't, which is unfortunate. The Parliament is a cool new system. We can't call it for 2 years, so we won't worry about it. Sorry, for 3 years, so we won't worry about it for 3 years. Cabinet. Okay, so this is our... What's that button? Hire courtier. Encourage a new character to enter our court. Cool. We have 2 seats. That's the base value. They're 5% effective. Crown Power's lowering it. Lock seat. Prevent the automation from changing this cabinet seat. We haven't got the automation on, so that's okay. Okay, so let's appoint a new cabinet member. Now there's 3 stats. Admin, dip, and military. That's what they're called. And they affect different things. So there's administrative actions, diplomatic actions, and military actions. I think we probably want to focus on admin and diplo early. And it not only affects their ability to do these actions, but also there's a base impact. Wow, 6% estate satisfaction equilibrium. That's impactful. So I think we want a real diplomat. And a diplomat who's a member of the clergy is good, because I don't want to empower the nobles too much. Although, so it's a zero-sum game, right? Any power they gain is power we lost. Would it make sense to stack up multiple bonuses on whichever is the most powerful in terms of number of bonuses and number of base power? No. You want to stack them up on one that has lower base power. Yeah. So there's 2 things fighting against each other here. If we put an extra 25% on the nobles, that's less impactful than a 25% on the clergy, assuming they have the same basic power base, which of course they do not. Because 25% on top of a whole bunch of other bonuses is less impactful. But the clergy have way lower base power. So what we actually want, I think, is one from a relatively underrepresented estate like this. And in fact, this guy being... Oh, I'm sorting by the wrong thing. Okay. But this guy's... I mean, he's pretty good. But yeah, we'd like to appoint a clergyman, but I can't go that much lower just to avoid appointing this guy. So, well done. How do you say that? Jiao? Jiao. I'm going to call you J. J is going to give us 7% states equilibrium. Very nice. 3.6 diplo rep just from this guy. It's crazy. No, and his admin ability actually gives you crown power. Nice. It's going to cost us some cash to hire him. And we can make him the head of the cabinet. We gain the noble head of the cabinet, which gives nobles 25% more power, but also more happiness equilibrium. That seems good so that we can spend... we can lower the noble loyalty in other ways while we give out privileges to other estates. So let's do that right out of the gate. Yeah. Obviously, I'd kind of rather it was on a different estate because the power bonus and nobility is more damaging to our power, but so it goes. So he's good at admin. So he's good at dip and then okay at the others. What about an administrator? And this guy is in the clergy. Perfect. Administrator, and he's also good at military. Welcome to the cabinet, my man. Now, what do we do with these guys? There's all kinds of things. All kinds of things. And any cabinet member can do any of these jobs, as long as they're available. Form a new primary culture. What? Interesting. But they're obviously going to be better at the ones that they have the skills for. So he's good at diplomatic endeavors, changing societal values. Interesting. That seems unaffected by his skill. In fact, lots of these seem unaffected by his skill. Maybe that's the base, but actually it's more. Let's experiment. So we want it to be innovative. So let's try that. You. Give a go at this. And now he's giving... where is it? Is it this? No. Which of these is changing by 0.45 towards innovative? None of these appear to be our guy. Maybe you'll come into effect next month or something. Anyway, other guy. What do I want you to do? He's good at Diplo. Some assimilation? Probably a good idea. Interesting. Conversion is a military one. Okay. Ooh, stabilizing the country as well. Could be good. He gives 0.5, but he's military is not his strong suit. Let's try and convert some people. So, let's talk about culture. Right now, we've got a lot of Castilians, and they're spread throughout. I really like the flattening effect on the map. That's very cool. But we also have all these Asturianese. So, how are they accepted? How's this working? So, yeah, 61% Castilian, got some Galician, Galician, and some Asturianese, and some Basque. Okay. Now, these guys are primary. They are dominant here, yes. Now, you've got 3 ticks, which I assume means you're an accepted culture. There are conditions. So we can change their primary culture, assume they have to be dominant in us, or a king has to be them, or the dominant upper class culture has to be them. That's interesting. The largest culture in a country of all upper class pops. Cool. Ah, there it is. Yes, they are a accepted culture, and it's using 0.25 of our cultural capacity. We have 2 cultural capacity. So is there any reason to convert them to our culture? It would strengthen our cultural influence, I think. Because right now, we're getting... No, it's just coming from our universities and our prestige, looks like. So it wouldn't make much difference to integrate these guys right now. But to integrate some of these Andalusi lot, and they're, all over the place, because obviously all of this was part of Al-Andalus. Integrating them would make them happier, because they're a discriminated culture right now. And we can't accept them. We can tolerate them. For 5 prestige, we can start tolerating them. Now, would it be a good idea to tolerate them? Well, let's see. What does a tolerated culture do? Pop satisfaction increases by 5%. Armies belonging to an accepted culture can be raised as levies without requiring special laws. Okay. And how does discriminated affect it? May not be raised as army levies without a special law. We might have that law, but... Yeah, so I think we accept Andalusi. Because we can still convert them. They're now a tolerated culture. And you can see that these are the opinions, by the way. So they're tolerated, but still, they're viewed as hostile. So it's not possible... Oh, wait. You can make them an accepted culture. Why? I would have thought I wasn't able to make them an accepted culture because we have this hostile view. Is there more hostile than like XX? Lowers their satisfaction by 15%. So we still want to convert them. So let's do that. Where do we have the most Andalusian pops? What's the best way to look at that? You would think it was under population map mode. Demography, right. Demography, show me cultures by location. Okay, so Andalusi, can I focus in on Andalusians? That's Basque. Okay, so are we accepting? We're tolerating Jews right now. Okay, they're only 1%, so not a huge deal. But yeah, so the Andalusians. They're present. What's the best way to do this? There must be a way for me to see, like in my country, where are the most Andalusians? How do I see this? I guess maybe I should convert places that I know are going to matter. So Seville, for example, it's got a couple of thousand Andalusians. So you, well, how quickly are they converting on their own, I guess, is another question worth asking. One. One per month is not many. How about if I put you on stimulating pops into our culture? Although, hang on, no, the South doesn't matter. The South doesn't matter because we have no control in the South. If we look at control, it's 20% down here, 30 in the cities. Really, we should be focusing on the North, because the North is where we actually have our power base. And maybe we should move our capital to somewhere more central, but yeah, it could be interesting. So you can see that with 20% control, you get 20% lower crown power from that province and 80% less everything, basically. So yeah, maybe I should be focused on the North. What else can you do? He can develop provinces, but he's not the best at it. Let's take a look at what development does, by the way. So in the capital, it's got how much development? Is it this one? No, that's tax base. Infrastructure. Development. It's got 28 development. Which gives it more population capacity, food production. I mean, it's a lot of stuff. It's a ton of stuff. Character life expectancy even goes up as you get more developed. There's not much to do with diplomacy, is there? Change social values. Only one advisor can do it at a time. Okay, interesting. Recovery effort. Reduce war exhaustion. Okay. Maybe we should do a diplomatic endeavor. And that's another question for this campaign, you know. How are we going to position ourselves? 100 Years' War is obviously going to break out soon. I feel like aligning ourselves with Britain would be advantageous. Because between us, the two of us, we'd have a pretty strong naval chokehold. And France is more fractured, way more fractured than Britain. In my like very brief previous run, all of France's vassals were super disloyal. These they seem pretty loyal here. Okay, so they're all pretty darn loyal. Some of these are vassals, some of them are appendages. What do appendages do, by the way? Instantly annex the subject if they have no heir when the ruler dies. That's cool. Subject strength impact is less. Can be annexed after 15 years. And you can build stuff in them. Interesting. Interesting. Anyway, I think we align ourselves with England. So let's do that. This, by the way, should be here. It's very silly that anytime there's a scroll list in your game, think twice, because they're usually bad ideas. They won't take an alliance, actually. Because of border distance. Yeah, but look, I'm right next to your fiefdomy thing. Come on now. Interesting. Well, maybe we don't ally either of them early on then. I don't really want to ally France because I have eyes for conquering some of this land as we try and spread around the Mediterranean. Ho hum. What do I want this guy to do? Well, let's just set him developing the capital for now, I guess. It seems good. And how much is he actually doing? Does it show up? Yeah, it seems unaffected by his skill, which is interesting. Because I thought his skill... or maybe... hang on. Let's take a look at what if I had you do it. Develop promise. Ah, okay. Yeah. It's already 0.25. 4.5. But it's increased because he's the head of the cabinet. Yeah. Okay, good. All right, so he's going to develop the capital. Good stuff. Nobles are a bit unhappy because we gave all those reforms away. Fair enough. What else? Mission trees. Right, okay, so let's pick a mission tree. We want to get a capable cabinet, some tax and prosperity, a state corporation, and progress in literacy, or developing a capital economy. Let's do politics. Oh, I can't. How do I do this? There we go. Okay. Select a tree. A capable cabinet. A cabinet is efficient as well as manned by capable individuals. Sure. Maybe the fact that I've already done that is going to be a problem, but... Okay, create a cabinet. You have to have at least 2 cabinet actions. We get a burst of administrative thought. 10% cabinet efficiency. Yes, please. Royal authority. We have to have at least 66 legitimacy. Okay, we can work on that. And then enact government reforms. Have less than 1 open slot for government reforms. Already done that. A year of crown power. Not that impactful, but okay. I think this is mostly for tutorializing. Make a head of cabinet. Good. He gets 25% efficiency in cabinet. Nice. Meritocratic approach. At least 50% have pretty good stats. Okay. You get 5 admin ability on both of them. Nice. And we move towards innovative. Hey, very nice. Yes, please. So now we just need some legitimacy. And then we get the High Era of Castile for 5 years. Okay. And we need some more stability for that. Nice. Okay. Can we have multiple missions? We can. We can have 1 from each category, it looks like. Cool. Regional expansion. Progressing towards expanding our nation. We get more integration. Humiliate a rival. Successfully surpassed a rival. We gain 20 spy network strength against each rival we surpass in terms of overall strength. Well, I do want to surpass our rivals, but we should probably set some first. Or Morocco's already our rival. I think I don't want to set more rivals because I like the fact that having less rivals is pushing us towards conciliatory, which I think is what we want to do early on. Yeah, I think that's... I think conciliatory is what we want in the short term. Well, because we're not going to be expanding fast. We've got some internal stabilizing to do. Now, let's deal with all these alerts. They did the alerts right, by the way. Notice. Yes. There's no big fucking circle. There's no current situation you constantly have to open to see what's going on. Hallelujah. So good. So good. All right, we can be targeted in a jihad. Less good. Less good. It's an international organization. A band of like-minded countries come together to rid themselves of infidels. Well, who doesn't like that? It's because we have at least, what? Because we neighbor an Islamic country, and we're a kingdom, and we're not Islamic. We're valid to be a target. That seems like it's going to be true for the whole campaign. Not too worried about that. We can intervene in a rival war. Right, yeah, I am tempted to do this. So Morocco starts in a war against Tlemcen. And it says that they have 12,000 troops, and we have 3,000, but it's wrong. We can raise 49,000 levies. We are expected to have an army of 5,700 regulars. How the hell am I meant to achieve that? We get 5 manpower right now. And each of these costs monthly manpower. There's no shot. How the hell am I expected to have a 5,000 army? Can I make a building that gives me more? We haven't looked at buildings yet. Oh my goodness me, it's gonna take some looking at, but let's finish looking at missions first, I think. Okay, yeah, we want to humiliate a rival. Wait, all progress on current mission will be lost. What does this button do? It's not a button. Okay, no, well, we do 1 mission at a time. Okay, why are you showing me all 3 then? And why when I collapse that, does this not move up? That's very silly. And why is this here rather than here? Why did it take a year to patch that into Victoria 3 and then they put it in EU5? Very silly. Oh well, hopefully someone will mod that across. In fact, maybe I can do that. In fact, maybe I'll do that right now as an excuse to rest my voice. Maybe I'll do it between this episode and the next, I think. But that would be good, right? Having this list here rather than... Because as soon as we get stuff going in the outliner, it's all just going to overlap on the right-hand side of the screen. Yeah, I think maybe I'll work on that between this episode and the next. Anyway, we've looked at country. We've looked at values. We've looked at missions. Next up, we looked a bit at economy. We're making some money. We could spend less on the Navy. Like, surely we don't need this much naval maintenance. It affects... naval maintenance is a way of measuring how many resources we're diverting to our ships in good condition. Morale will suffer, and our ships will be less effective. Because right now they've got high morale, but we're not using them to do anything right now. So I don't think it matters. So let's drop that, and yeah, we'll automatically raise in times of war. Army maintenance, same story. We don't care about the morale of our troops right now. Forts, likewise, we don't care about the quality of our forts. Look how expensive the forts are compared to the army, by the way. That's crazy. I guess once we have levies raised, the army will get way more expensive, but 11 ducats on armies. That's bonkers. It's bonkers. So then diplomatic spending. This increases our diplo capacity, which I don't think is displayed anywhere in the top bar, because this is our number of diplomats, which is different, I think, because it also increases that, right? Yeah. So where is your diplo capacity shown? It must be somewhere. Relations. Here it is, diplo capacity. Why is that not in the top bar? That seems like a really important thing. Hang on, let me put that on my notes for things that I might try and change. Although that would be really difficult, so that's more like a wish list. But add diplo capacity to top bar. Okay. Oh, we can make 46 subjects? Jesus Christ. You can make custom subjects out of anywhere you want, right out of the gate. Cool. Very cool. Anyway, what was I doing? Right, yes. So diplo spending. This increases the loyalty of subjects who haven't got any. Our diplomatic capacity, we're not near the cap. The amount of maximum diplomats, that's the amount of like diplomatic actions you can store, and the amount of diplomatic stuff you gain each month. Now, until we start running out, I'm going to drop this way down. I don't think we need more diplomatic actions right now. We need internal growth. I also really wish I could get rid of these. I'm going to add that to the remove all. What would you call it? Like key and mouse tool tips. That would take ages to mod. Maybe there's an option. Let me check. No, I don't think there is a way to turn those off, unfortunately. Never mind. Now, stability spending. How expensive is stability? It's not that expensive. Obviously, it's going to start decaying. So we can spend... How is this base cost calculated, by the way? 10% of economic base. And if we put it to like half... It's going to be half the economic base. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. What is economic base? Is it this? No. Although maybe it's this once modified by tax. When it says economic base. 10% of economic base. Oh, sorry, it is that number. I was looking at the 12, but that's because we have the stability investment cost modifier reduction. Yes. Okay. So it's the tax base. How is tax base calculated? What way are you providing me with 18 tax base? Because you're literally just generating 18.97 ducats. It's so intuitive. It's so sensible. It's so dynamic. It's so representative of the state of the province. Mwah. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, so the tax base, and the tax base is reduced by control. Yes, dramatically. Very cool. Very cool. Okay, so the tax base is the amount of money made by the estates. Because remember, as I understand it, the estates make all the money and then you tax them from buildings. You can make money from trade, I believe. So they're making all this money, the burgher's making most of it because it's a city. And then we're taxing some of it. Okay. Interesting, which means that raising the number of clergy will raise your tax base without raising your income, which means it will cost more to do things like diplo spending. I assume diplo spending is also based on, yes it is. Is fort maintenance? No, I think that's just a number of forts. Yeah. Navy maintenance, based on the actual number of navies. And then cost of court. And yeah, we talked about this earlier. Good feature. This is a percentage which represents your expected cost of court multiplied by your tax base. So basically, we are currently expected to spend 10.8% of all of the money generated in the whole country on the court. And that's generated in the country, not taxed by us. So that's, I mean, that's a lot, right? And by doing more than that, we're getting some extra legitimacy. Okay. I think we want to bump our legitimacy even a bit more, because we will have that mission that we want to try and get. That's a monthly change. It's pretty fast. How fast does it decay? 1. Okay, so for every 0.01 investment you get, that moves your trending equilibrium by 40 points. Sorry, by 1 point. So we're doing 40 points right now, 41 points. Nice. Okie doke. Good stuff. So we can expect it to trend towards 97 with this much spending. Okay. Good. This is a lot of spending on stability. I mean, we could practically double our income. We should probably not spend quite as much on stability. Or cost core, honestly. Let's drop it a bit so we have more money to invest into buildings. And that's the next step, right? Buildings. Which of these are profitable? Which does it make sense for us to build? How the heck do we work it out? Brethren of the Marsh. What a name. Archive of the Indies. Yeah. How the hell do we work out what to build? What kind of employment system should we have? Goodness gracious me. But that is something we will look into in the next episode. Didn't unpause in the first episode. Will we unpause in the second? You'll have to wait and see. Thank you so very much for watching. I did attempt to mod it such that the events were not overlapping the outliner, but I can make them move. Then as soon as I do this, they move back again. I'm not sure what's going on with that. I'll just wait till it properly releases before I start trying to mod it, probably. I did also neglect to save when I went out to mod it. So I've redone stuff. We're all in basically the same situation, although when I went back, I did notice accepting these guys would actually cost 1.89 cultural capacity. We don't have that much cultural capacity. Basque is using up a bunch of it. So I don't think we should actually do that. We're not going to accept the Andalusians after all. We'll just keep working on trying to get them to convert to us. So next was going to be buildings, but I think that will be a slightly overwhelming way to start the episode. Let's look at research instead. So we have a base progress of 1 because we're a settled country. The power of our liturgical language, Latin, is 0.08. Let's see if we can see where that's derived from. So Castilian, like, how do I see? Show me your language. How do I do this? Maybe I can do it from within here. I don't see. Maybe it's under religion. Is there a religion tab? Is there not a religion tab? Surely there is a religion tab. Yeah, there we go. Religion. Liturgical language is Latin. Okay. And the language power is 44%. For every 1,000 clergy pops to the religion, it gives 20 power. Okay. And then the percentage is what? Percentage of total, I guess. Is there a liturgical languages map mode? Yes. So Church, Slavonic, Latin, and Arabic, the big ones that we have vision on. Okay. Interesting. Does the music change when you zoom all the way out? It does. Is that the sound of rain? And it goes away when you zoom back in? Huh, weird. Anyway, so because Latin is pretty widespread, we're getting some tech progress from that, which makes sense. You know, all our clergymen across the continent, across Christendom, can chat to each other. Embrace institutions increases it by 5% per institution, and the clergy being happy increases it. Okay. Now, of course, literacy also increases it, and here's our literacy. And it's just the average across our whole country. How do we promote literacy? Buildings, I think. Buildings and probably privileges. Privileges seem to affect the max literacy available for various things. We have feudalism and legalism embraced, but not meritocracy. How does meritocracy spread work? Is it actually going to have to spread like from all the way over here? Or will it actually spread in our provinces? assuming we have the right setup. It doesn't seem to have spread to any of these provinces. God, that noise when you zoom out is quite loud. Is there a institutions map mode? Must be, right? Tax base, prosperity. We'll learn where all these are, obviously, in the fullness of time. There it is, institutions. So right now we have no vision on anywhere that has meritocracy. If I had to guess where it would be spreading, Constantinople would be it. But, okay. We need at least 20 before we can embrace it. The advent of it as an institution as thought movement was popular in China. Yeah, okay, I don't really know how we can affect that. I think we may just have to wait for it to spread literally from China. So we won't worry about that for now. But let's look at some researchers. So it's not super clear on this screen, but this is, because when you're looking at this, you're like, oh, research that. So I know you've got that already. This can be researched. This is already researched. Okay. So we only have one kind of, there's different tech trees within each era. You can see there's several per age. We've already got everything in many of these trees. All of them, in fact, I think, except these two. This one requires meritocracy. This one doesn't. So this is obviously what we're going to research first. 50 extra clerics in towns and cities and 5% max literacy. Seems good. And then after that, more burghers and more max literacy for burghers seems pretty good. This isn't useful to us until we can actually get some institutions that can spread to us. Stability investment, that seems good. All of these seems good, but not vital. So I think probably we want guilds second. And I love the UI here. Looks really nice, honestly. I like the little numbers, the lines. It's all very pretty. Cool. Okay, so that's tech. At some point, we're going to have to look into buildings. So, how the heck do buildings work? You have base resources produced in all these provinces by resource gathering operations. You can increase the size of those resource gathering operations. Then you have buildings that process those resources into things. So, for example, if I wanted to look at, is the cards display anymore? That seems less clear to me. And we're currently automating production methods, right? Because buildings can have different production methods. So, for example, this Distiller's Guild in our capital is using this one. It uses wine, glass, and pottery. Sorry, grapes. No, it is wine. Okay, wine, glass, and pottery to make liquor. Okay, but we could also use beer or wheat, potatoes or rice or sugar. But obviously we do not have access to potatoes. In fact, we also don't have access to rice right now. Automating which of these we want them to select, I think, is okay for now. There will come times when it might make sense for us to really think about these things, like which ones do we want to select. So, for example, let's say maybe we want to use some domestic goods rather than goods that will cause them to be imported. If we want to try and keep a bit of autarky going on. There's no wages. It just employs people if it can, as I understand it. And yes, it makes some money. They're distilling wine, and they have a potential profit. But yes, if control is not 100%, this won't be what they're actually making. And then when they make the money, modified by control, it goes to the estate. The estate actually makes the money. So these burghers, their income is partly coming from, I don't think I can actually see a breakdown of that here, but perhaps I can here. Demographics, rather. No, that's not their income, that's just their money. I mean, their numbers. I'm not sure if I can see, be in here, how much money the burghers are making. Yes, here we go. No, that's trade capacity. Yeah, I'm not sure I can see how much money they're making in here at all. I mean, I can see it on these, obviously, but I don't think I can see it overall. Interesting. Okay, but anyway, they're making money. God, some of these sound effects are really loud. Probably less loud on your end because I've, in the way that I often do, turned it down nervously, not wanting to drown me out. But anyway, so these places are all fully employing. It's loud. How do we want to have our employment system work? It would cost us 10 stability to change. Equality just splits workers between everything. First come, first serve. Populates buildings in the order they're built. Most profitable first populates the most profitable buildings first. And then infrastructure, the most profitable. Makes sense. Fills out infrastructure, then most profitable. And that impacts capital economy and communalism. That's capital economy. This is traditional economy. And this is communalism. Okay, so I believe we are on traditional economy and we're not going to be able to get off it. I think I'm okay with the 10% buildings cost. Like, this is still a net positive, I think. So we don't need to try and move a little bit towards capital economy. Only once we can properly go to capital economy is that going to be worth interfering with. Okay. So what do we want to start building, if anything? I guess what would make sense to do is take a look at the market. And we basically, I don't think I care about the Sevilla market. Is that how you pronounce this? Sevilla? I mean, I could say Seville, but I think it's pronounced Sevilla. I could be wrong. I think, in fact, that sounds like it is wrong. Maybe I'll say Seville. Sevilla. Anyway, I don't think I care about this market because our control down there is so low. I think it's Burgos that we want to start focus on developing first. So in the Burgos market, which, yeah, we should probably star, shouldn't we? Yeah, let's keep that there. In fact, let's star them both. Seems useful. Ooh, hang on. Don't automate trade in the market. Or maybe trade in the market is sensible, but not trade outside the market? How does that work? What does this do? Oh yeah, and we can't export gold and silver, by the way. There is... Oh, we do have some silver mines. I didn't realize. But we need both gold and silver to mint effectively. We currently have a penalty to our minting because we don't have enough gold, which is, a bit problematic. But do I want to automate trade within the market or not? I don't know. Because if I automate it there, but don't automate it here, what does that do? Current trades, suggested trades for profit. Bordeaux to importing saffron will generate some cash. Yeah, it's difficult for me to know what to do and how good the automation is. How do I compare the two? I guess I could try and do it myself, look at the values, then reload, automate it and see how it does, but I don't know. The other thing I can potentially do by manually doing it is avoid trading with Morocco and thereby limit Morocco's income. But let's try doing it manually. So right now, it said somewhere up here when we unautomated something, like, hey, you have available, oh yeah, by the way, the back button does have a shortcut. It's mouse 5, or mouse 4. 1, 2, 3, no, it's mouse 5. But it's not shown in the tooltip for some reason. Yeah, so don't automate these. And now it's saying, hey, you've got unused trade capacity. So let's try and use, I think being more intentional with the trade. It depends how much micro it's going to end up being, but let's work that out together. I think I need to talk more quietly because my voice is really not so good. Okay, so the Burgos markets. Okay, and you can also automate part of the trade capacity. That's interesting. That's a fun idea. So potentially you can let it, handle critical shortfalls. Meanwhile, you can focus on other stuff. I assume other people also have this gold export ban, because that's because of... Is it one of these? I think it's one of these privileges that we have, but I forget which one. Let me find it here. No, it's not one of those. Must be a law. Socioeconomic law. There we go. Yeah, precious metal distribution ban on export, but you get 33% more income from minting. So I imagine lots of people have that. If we do regulated export, it gives us plus 1% trade efficiency. Unlimited export, you actually get some trade advantage, but you get less income from it. Okay, interesting. And here we should take a look at our laws as well, actually. Should I do laws before we do buildings? No, we should try and stay on buildings for a moment here. So here are all the goods. Sort by profit level. So we could make money by building up some more cotton and some more silver. That checks out. And pops are missing silver in the market, but only very, very few. Many pops are missing fruit. So how does that work? Can I go on to fruit? I can. So right now, we've got 2 sources of fruit. We've got 4 demanding it, including brewery and winery, potentially. Although I think the wineries aren't using it. It costs 1 trade capacity to trade. It outputs 4 food. All these pops need it. It's everyone, basically. And there's a shortage. No, there isn't a shortage of anything. Maybe just because we haven't unpaused yet. I assume it's because we haven't unpaused yet. Okay, so do we just build the most profitable stuff? I guess we do a reality check and say, like, what is actually the demand? Oh, no, hang on. Is this 4 saying there can be demand from 4 buildings and they can be produced from 2 things? Yes, I think that is what it's saying. Okay. There's no shortage. Why is there this pops missing thing? Maybe once we unpause it will correct for that. And what's the difference between these 2 things? Iron buildings, iron RGO. What's an iron building? A bog iron smelter. Interesting. This turns coal into iron without an iron mine? That seems interesting. How does that work? No, it can only be built in certain places, maybe? Has to be built in a city, a town, or a rural. And it has to have... Okay, it has to be adjacent to a lake or be wetlands. And it has to not produce iron. Interesting. Oh, there's lots of these kind of raw extraction buildings. Okay, and right now we can only build it down here because of the wetlands. And that's what? Just extracting the basic iron-based metallurgy. Proper and good sources of it, the best to have. Some can be extracted from places near water where it accumulates. Is that true? It's cool. But no, if we wanted more iron, we would build the far more profitable iron RGA. Okay. That makes sense. Well, how much do these buildings cost? 51 to expand. And there's labor available. No, there's 0 labor available here, actually. And it's also way down here in the south. Is there really 0? Oh, 0 laborers available, but there's promotion happening and 15,000 peasants able to promote. Okay, so if we were to build it down here, we would expect to see... well, there's already a bunch of people becoming laborers. Why is there 1,000 laborers when there's no jobs for laborers here? But we don't really want to build it here because there's low control. We want to build in the north. Is that our only iron mine, though? Buildings... Sorry, that was cotton, wasn't it? I thought I saw cotton up here. Did I see it? Oh, yeah, that's salt. Okay. And silver. There is a silver mine in the north. No available laborers again, but people promoting. I mean, silver extraction seems like a no-brainer, doesn't it? Why is it so much more profitable down here? The lumber's cheaper, perhaps? In the southern market? In the Burgos market, silver is worth 3.7. Whereas down here, it's worth 5.17. Okay, interesting. Well, I think probably... I mean, this is the one that it thinks is really profitable, but this one is the one that's closer and more controlled. Because this... it's multiplied by 20%. So the return on investment of building this down here in Constantina seems really low. Because it's going to make... Assume this is correct. It's going to make 1.1 ducats. But it's being multiplied by 20%. Oh, no, sorry. The 1.1 is what it's actually making after the control multiplication. Okay. So that's pretty good. That seems surprisingly good compared to this one. It's only like 50% more expensive. Maybe the wood is cheaper. But yeah, so this pays itself back. This is monthly, yeah? I'm pretty sure all of these are monthly. This would pay back in just 50 months. That's pretty good. So let's build that and see how long it takes for it to populate. We'll keep an eye on that. And then apparently we have a fruit shortage, and we can build it up here, and some we have nice high control. So let's do that. Also, there's some available laborers. Nice. But I guess you want to spread out your building so you're making full use of the promotion going on. Now, why is there a difference in profit between these two provinces? What is your profit per level being derived from? It's going to output 1.19 either way because it's got laborers or slaves, serfdom's giving a bonus, traditional economy is giving a bonus. The lumber... Oh, and the game crashed. Oh well. Let me start it back up again. Right, we're back. And for some reason, I couldn't find my save, so I've redone stuff. But yeah, we're building some silver mines, building up some fruit just because it said we were short on fruit. And then beyond that, I think this, we've established now this profit is actually after the control. So we probably should build some cotton. And then, I don't know, I struggle to know what's going to be most impactful. I mean, should I just go down the list of profitability? Trying to make sure I'm not doubling up anywhere? Seems okay. Let's put some money into that. And then I think in terms of developing a city, does it matter if the goods are local? Oh, no, right. Yeah, I had another question, which I was trying to answer before it crashed. Why is the profit different on these iron mines? It's... the profit per level... Oh, let me click in here. The Toledo iron mine. Where is that? Here. Oh, clicking on it instantly built another one. That's what I wanted. There we go. Oh, we can see our constructions are all lined up here. Cool. The output level is 1.19, which costs a certain amount. But these two, Toledo is in the Seville market. But there aren't just two values in this profits list. So Toledo, where is this coming from? Maybe it's the, well, like compare these two. Yeah, sorry, that's right. That's what we're doing. Compare these two. So the lumber, why would it be different? The RGO level is the same. The current employment is the same. The profit per level is different. Is it because they're further from the market center? So you have 71% market access, whereas you have 58%. So you should be less profitable than you. Is that what we experienced? Go back. It was iron. You should be more profitable than you, yes, and you should be even less profitable. Okay, it's market access. I understand. Good. Okay, that makes sense. So, what else should we be building? Maybe roads? Should I be looking into better connecting our lands? Or also, yeah, more libraries for the cultural influence could be good. We can't because we don't have enough books, I think it's saying. Can't because, yeah, not enough books. All right, how do you get books? Let's work on a little bit of a literary industry, shall we? So books. Books, there's scriptorum, that's used in these things. It's a produced good, yes. It's made in scriptorums, printers' shops, printing manufactories, and printing mills. Okay, I assume we can only have scriptorums for right now. Let's build some of them. What is this sorted by? There we go, alphabetize it. Scriptorums. Scriptorums take... They need masonry to build them. And then you need dyes, paper, and wood. And they make books. Okay. Seems good. We can subsidize them. We can close them. So, scriptorums in the capital to produce some books. Seems good. Is that where it thinks it's going to be most profitable? Yes. Why? So what about here? It reckons it would be... The books sell for 7 ducats, while the required goods cost 1 ducat. That seems ludicrously profitable. That's not what this number is saying. Required goods cost 1, sells for 7. And it sells less for here because the market access is worse, I think. Why? Yeah, so that makes sense. So why is that 1 ducat of profit? Additional level. Potential building profit. Profit is 1.12. I mean, that doesn't sound right, does it? In what universe is 7.1 minus 1, 1.12? But anyway, we need some more books. This thing pays itself off pretty fast. Oh, and we can see how much masonry there is available here. And it actually does go down as we start building stuff. Let's build a bunch of books. There's a bunch of available clerics here. Let's build a bunch of books there. And then also, something else we might want in the capital. Ooh, we can build cathedral. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Cathedral. So we get more clergy and faster pop conversion in the capital. We cannot build another conversion in cathedral. You can only build them in certain places. Oh, we've already got quite a few. I think a cathedral in the capital to make our capital... it's going to give a shortage on glass and lumber and stuff. We have some available. Yeah, a cathedral in the capital to make people, our clergy there, more literate seems useful. And then maybe the same logic, a monastery as well. Hospitals give character, life expectancy, and disease resistance. That could be interesting to have just in the capital, because presumably our king is going to be in the capital a lot of the time. And that's going to mean that he lives longer while he's in the capital. It's very expensive though, so we should probably save some money. So now roads. How do roads work? I think you build them from provinces. Yeah, roads builder. Okay. So we've already got roads to quite a few places. Anywhere we've just built to that doesn't have a road to it? Yes. Here. So maybe we want to put a road just there to connect to this these new mines. It's going to cost 112 just to build 1 tile of roads. Wow. That is expensive. And I think you can set waypoints, can't you? Yeah, which is cool. Yeah, okay, no, we're not going to build any roads right now. They're way too expensive. What do roads do? Well, can I see on here that there is a road? Because there's a road in this province, I think we were just seeing. Yeah, and indeed here, but not here. Oh, we can see the actual resource deposit on the map. That's cool. So where is this road coming into play here? Has road increases development by 25%. Development growth, rather. That's cool. Where's the road shown? There's lumber, tax base. Maybe it doesn't directly affect the province beyond the development. Maybe it's just that it lets control move faster. And so let's take a look at control as our next thing. We spent some money on building some stuff. Let's think about control. Control is communication efficiency from mayor and taxes, essentially, but changed in a few ways. Firstly, there's a floor of 20, it seems like. Where is that floor of 20 coming from, by the way? Ah, because it's a core. Okay. Interesting. And it is actually dropping in all these places because of satisfaction. Interesting. So what is the average satisfaction somewhere like this? Where do I see that? And yeah, it's no proximity. It's too far away. Here it is. So the average satisfaction of 68% lowers control by 3%. Okay, so basically you lose 1% control per 10% below 100% average satisfaction. And what is your satisfaction derived from? Okay, some of it comes from just your estate. That makes perfect sense. And then lacking goods lowers it. If it is below 19%, it will join a rebel. Okay. And you guys are absolutely thrilled because... Oh, you're... Ooh, Knights Hospitalier, which is actually Hospitaller, isn't it? And these guys are actually... These are one of the, like, non-land holding people. Or actually... No, they do have land down here, but... They actually have... They have foreign land. Because this is them, right? Knights Hospitaller? Yeah. But they have people in our lands, which is interesting. With a certain amount of satisfaction. Interesting. Very interesting. Ah, here's a good way to visualize it. Cool. So the Sunnis are not happy. Because the Andalusis don't like us, the Sunnis don't like us, we don't tolerate them. Yeah, they're not having a good time. In fact, they're going to become rebellious. In fact, look, they already are. Andalusi patriots, nationalist rebels. Where do I view them? Rebels. There are no rebels. They don't need to have progress. So here we are, the Andalusi patriots. No monthly change. Why not, though? Because, I mean, they seem mad. Oh, it is literacy. Cool. And right now they're getting 0.01 literacy per month from written alphabet. But their max is 10. Okay. So it's not actually growing. Why are they not... Maybe they will next month. Not sure. Not sure. Anyway. Yes, so control. We have control up here because we have some proximity. So let's take a look at how that proximity works. So you have 90% proximity. And yeah, show me the proximity map mode. So it can't get past a certain point, it looks like. Like there's just none getting down here. But 6% get here. And it lowers it by a certain amount for every province it has to go through. Okay. And so there's no point really moving my capital to a more central location because it's not even reaching the coast, even when we're in this northern position. So it's not actually going to increase the amount of places it reaches. But we could consider some roads that might help. So for example, what if from the capital we put a road here and here? That would increase the access down here. But do we want to do that? Because we probably do eventually want the capital to be more central. Or indeed, same as Mayo and taxes, in the fullness of time, we probably want a coastal capital so that we can have more access to our colonial empire. I don't think there's much to be done about access, right? Control and proximity right now. Because proximity is just kind of what it is, unless we can afford to build roads, which I don't feel like we can really. We might be able to get control a little bit higher in some provinces with roads, though. How's the road network to the north? I mean, it's pretty comprehensive, isn't it? But if we look at the proximity, is it actually going along the roads? So Lyon, that follows the road, yes? No, there's actually not a road across here, looks like. Okay, so we could do a road here would increase more access up in the north. So let's do that. And then let's look to the east. So someone getting out to Burgos, for example. That looks to be followed. Oh, it shows the roads on here. Nice. That follows a road. But out here to the east, no roads. So driving a road east should increase our access in all this region. And now we're out of money, so let's stop spending it. Okay, cool. And we can keep working on our road network and go from there. I think there are also buildings that give local control, but maybe they are they might be unique. Docks also help, but that only matters once we get to the coast. Just looking at what else here might, like a lieutenancy, for example. Noble power higher, but also local proximity source plus 25. Yeah. So this is like our local administration. We're going to want to try and build some of those. Any other similar things? An order stronghold. Cool. Monthly manpower, but clergy power up. Interesting. Monthly manpower, we don't have very many sources of that at all. So that could be interesting. Overseas trading post. The Royal Alatranzas of Seville. Or however we're saying it. Cool. A royal court gives efficiency of cabinet up. Ooh. And gives crown power. We definitely need to get some of them built. Very cool. If in the capital gives those things, we can't just spam them. Prestige and diplomats from this. Whoa, that's so good. Plus 0.2 diplomats. That's the same as spending 10% of our whole tax base on diplomats. No, I think you got 0.4 for that. Still, crazy good. Crazy good. Bunch of rural buildings. I think the difference with rural buildings is that they employ laborers rather than burghers. And then you have like a guild which employs burghers. But the guilds are more efficient. I think that's how that works. Right, we got some skipped around. Sergeantry. Does it give us manpower? It does. Ah, if in the capital though. Ooh, that gives crown power too. We're gonna want to get that built for sure. Loads of stuff we want to get built, man. Temples. We probably want to build some universities around the place as well. They're very expensive though. But hey, we're making a decent amount of money with our current spending priorities. Okay. Yes, so we want to get some gold. That's one thing I do want to look into. So, goods, gold. Where is gold produced? A long way away. But I'm assuming if I check your laws, how do I see your laws? Can I see your laws? Kind of looks like no. This list is very inefficient in its use of space. One in EU4 is so compact and nice. The Tartar yoke. Oh, these are all of them. These are just known ones to us, not ones the Byzantines are in. The Lordship of Ireland, the Swiss Confederation. The Navarrese. Ah, you've got a marriage union with some of the French subjects. Interesting. And the Burgundian French Comte marriage union. Cool. And there's the Ghibellines and the... How do you say this? Guelphs? Guleefs? Gulefs? I think it's Glefs and Ghibellines? Anyway. High Kingship of Ireland. That's cool. It gives prestige and great power to the capital. To the main one. The Tartar yoke. No unjustified wars against other members. The leader gets monthly tribal cohesion. The members get monthly development down. Interesting. Khanin, Hundred Empire, and of course Catholic Church. What was I trying to look at? Yeah, how are we going to get some gold to fix our minting? I mean, one way, of course. There's gold in them there hills and all that. But is there any other way? There is the Tafia gold mine. I don't see myself getting access to that in a hurry. And then even if we did, do we need control to produce goods? Like this province here. The market access we need, right? So market access, how easily it can interact with a market center. Locations have higher market attraction towards markets with better access. Yeah. They can buy goods and food in order of their market access. Yeah. Harms local interest by reducing the output of buildings and the profit of the RGO. Notably doesn't say the output of the RGO. So, like this salt, for example, it's producing 1.18. It seems like it is anyway. Even if it's making less profit. But the goods are still entering the market, I think. Let's have a look here. Sveha market. Lock that. Yeah, open the market menu. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. So what was being made here again? I forget. I can highlight stuff. So this, for example, this copper. There's 5.18 leaving it. That does not sum to 5.13. But it seems like it is adding its full amount. Okay, so if we got access to the Tafia gold mine, we would be able to get full access to the gold in our market. We just wouldn't make very much money from it. So maybe beginning campaign against Morocco to secure the Tafialot gold mine would be a good move. It would be difficult, but we do outnumber them dramatically on the military, right? We got 50,000 levies, and they allegedly have 12. It's going to take some time to cut down to there, but that seems like a good expansion plan, right? We're going to take Granada and Morocco and then try and work our way down here. Can you multi-select provinces still? No, you can't. Shame. Okay, how else could we secure the gold situation? Well, can I click onto this? Yeah. Other gold mines, not easy to come by. For sure. We could try and trade with these people, but I don't know if it's... What I need to see is that gold making it to market? Markets. So that gold in Constantinopolis region, is it making it to market? Gold. Some of it is here. Oh, but we have no access to these markets. Okay. I don't think there's a way for us to solve our gold situation in the short term then. Well, fair enough. We can work on that as a longer term goal. Okay, what else do we need to do? Welcome to EU5. No thanks. Religious actions. Placitum Regium. Right, so this is statutory and restraint of appeals. We're not going to do that. We can set more rivals, but I don't want to. I'm happy with being conciliatory. We do want to use some of our diplomats. So we can only store 2 right now because we're not spending much. And we're only gaining 0.1. So what do we want to spend our diplomats on? Well, in my 1 hour test game where I just played as Castile, didn't really do much, allied France and fought England, we suddenly got a claim on Portugal. So I think I'm not going to ally Portugal because we have this royal marriage. And if we could get a claim on them, I mean, that would be pretty sweet, right? Oh, we're married to his daughter? Okay, then no wonder we got a claim. I didn't realize. So when it says we have a royal marriage to them via this marriage, our ruler's second cousin and their second cousin. More importantly, my wife, consort Maria, is actually his daughter. Okay. Well, that seems promising that we might be able to yoink Portugal early then. Because if we could, I mean, if he dies, surely she gets a claim on it. That'd be cool. Get our wife a throne. Seems only right that she should have one as well. So maybe we try and ally and make friends with Aragon. Perhaps we... Do I have to pop these out every time, by the way? If I now do it with you? No, I don't. Good. We could do a defensive league with Aragon. Royal marriage. We have no adult unmarried characters closely related enough to our ruler, and neither do they. Okay, fair enough. And they don't want to ally with us because they desire land that we own. Oh yeah, it's good reason. I hope we find the Toledo gold mine at some point. That would be nice. Block building in our territory. Oh yeah, right. You can build overseas. So how does that work? Show just the Lisboa market. Build bailiffs. Noble power and proximity source as well. Nice. Bridges. Cool. Ah, lowest proximity cost when you have a bridge. Presumably you can only build that in a place with a river. Yeah. And a road as well. Isn't there like an embassy? Yeah, embassy. Increases diplomatic capacity. Lifts fog of war. Quite expensive, I assume. Jewelry's got to be a little pricey. And some paper. That's interesting. So we should start building some embassies around Europe in order to increase our diplomatic capacity. But in the short term, our diplomatic capacity is not a problem because we've got 3 available. We could ally... Do we want to ally France? That's one question. If we don't ally France, there's a risk England gets a PU over them. It should be problematic. But also, we could just work on spying on Aquitaine. Create a CB. Costs. Oh, we have good relations, so it's going to cost stability. What is our relations? What are our relations in England like? Plus 55 because we have some showed social values and they like Catholics. Yeah, fair enough. Oh, France won't even take an alliance this time. Interesting. Diplomatically. Oh, yes, and Navarra. Navarra is no match for us. They got any relations with anyone? They are allied to Portugal. Maybe Navarro should be our first kind of Christian conquest. It would be nice to have all of these mountain forts to help defend potentially against Spanish aggression. So let's start building a spy network with them, which costs 1 diplomat to do. And it also lowers our... It costs some monthly, I think. Right? Not sure. Does our opinion with the Papal State matter for religion? Where's religion again? Here. We're getting some religious influence. Primary religion clergy ratio. These are policies of our indulgence law. Okay. Policy of the simony law. Catholicism, holy site. Doesn't seem to be influenced by our relationship with the Pope. So I don't think I need to improve relations with the Pope. So that's fine. What else have we got here? Underage heir. Nothing I can do about that. Some unprofitable buildings. So, these unprofitable buildings. Should I be demolishing them? Should I be taking steps to try and render them profitable? Should I be automating the closing of unprofitable buildings? Let's see how it shakes out. Maybe they'll become profitable if we give it a little bit. Yeah, there are pops with needs. Lack of a commander. Right. Who shall lead the first army? Who's the best fighter? Seems good. This guy. He's got a good ship trait, though. A glory seeker. Prestige from battles. Sure. We'll put you in charge. Although, presumably this will buff up the estate. Let's see if that did. Did that give you a bonus from having a general? Yes. 25% bonus. Wow. Does that mean if I split my fleet into a whole bunch of different units and then give them all to different people, it's going to massively change the amount? It'd be kind of funny if it did, right? Oh yeah, these, by the way, I thought these were all international organizations. They're not. They're control groups. So 1 is our main army, 2 is our navy, 3 is the papacy, or rather the Catholic Church itself. In charge of the navy, we'll put that other guy, although maybe I'd rather put a peasant. Or even better, yeah, us. We will lead the navy. Yeah. We have different traits than our last one, and one of them's worse, which is annoying, but because with us in charge of the navy, we get 25% bonus to crown power. Nice. Okay. What else is going on up here? We can intervene. Right, so do we intervene against Morocco? I don't know how negotiating as a secondary participant works in this game. Let's find out, shall we? Let's get in this war. Morocco, you hold land on the Iberian Peninsula. That is completely unacceptable. I will intervene. Oh, we can intervene. Oh, we can't do this because we're not powerful enough to intervene into people who are not our rivals. But the Sultanate of Morocco. Intervene in the Moroccan-Tlemcen War. Oh, it just does it. There's no confirmation on that one. Cool. We're in the war. So the war goal, defender controls take Tlemcen. So that's the actual war goal. And we can raise levies. I should really check these others. So yeah, not worry about that. Repairing slowly because there's a lack of goods. That's unfortunate. Oh yeah, we should probably also start working on... And I think I want to try and make Cadiz our port because... Oh no, we established we're not going to do that because it's marshlands, right? So Seville, you're my port. Have you got some naval supplies already? It looks like you don't. So we probably want to make a naval supplies guild here. But we don't have the money for it right now. And once I raise our men, we might actually be losing money. So that's kind of a problem, but So let's raise some levies. So we can raise them from all our provinces. Different provinces are different sizes. And looking at this, how is it decided how many men you get from each province? Where would that be? Oliveira. Oh, it's not got any of the names on the map anymore, though. So why more men from here? Average control 30%, 30%. It doesn't seem highly tied to control. So maybe you can levy even from low control areas. Not sure. For now, raise all my levies. So this actually removes the population. So 49,000 people are going to leave these places. And if they die, they're gone. And we get less food production and raw material output while they're raised. But let's raise them all up. We're going to get some mailed knights, some footman levy, and some feudal levies from the peasants and clerics. Cool. Okay, and unpause. Let's do this. Oh yeah, and we can also raise some naval levies. Do I need to raise naval levies? You have 10 ships, all levies. Of what type are your levied ships? Because we've got 4 galleys, 8 light ships, 2 transports. I think that'll be enough, honestly. I don't think we need to levy our navy. Let's not do that. We also still have more diplomats available. Let's spy on Granada, and let's spy on Morocco. So, oh, I can't now? We already have someone on route because we just joined the war. Right. So how does this separate suit for peace work? This looks familiar. Made it fill the whole screen. I appreciate that. So what we're probably wanting is like this, but then maybe a foothold. This is going to give us over 50 antagonism, but only with Morocco. That seems good. We have no war goal, of course, so I assume this is going to cost extra. Oh, the game crashed again. Damn. Okay, that's back before the crash. I've reinstalled the game. I ran the game for 20 years, it didn't crash. With any luck, we should be onto a winner. I think I've redone everything that I did before. I think. But it has occurred to me there is something else we want to do, which is we have these heirs, right? We've got Pedro, we've got Sancho, Enrique. We need to educate him. So right now he's getting a balanced education, which means ability increase during education is 0.5. I assume that means they get 0.5 a year or something. But anyway, what's relevant is that 0.75 is higher than 0.5. So by increasing the expected cost of court by 2%, we can give him a 50% better education. We could also give him a focused education on some particular thing. What actual impact do his things have as a ruler? Okay, so they just affect their respective court action, cabinet actions. Crown power. Okay, so I probably mostly care about admin and diplo, but I think just going for the expensive education seems viable. And let's look at how that works. So right now, our cost of court, we're spending 54%, and the max investment is 8. Base, the expected is 10. So because we're above it. How does expected work though? Because we're expected is 10.8, and by spending 54% of the expected, we're getting that much, I guess. But so 8.7 and 0.25 legitimacy. And if we switch this to an expensive education, we don't actually have the money for that right now. Okay, never mind. We'll do that when we have the money. I've respent the money that we previously spent. So we've got our levies raising. We've got our fleet down here. We're in charge of the fleet. I put a peasant in charge of the army to avoid buffing up the estate power of the nobility too much. And we're paying... Well, we're not. We should pay the army. We're also losing diplomacy. So we should probably do just enough diplo spending to... why isn't my autoclicker working? There we go. So if we spend enough for... Yeah, just so we're getting some diplomats. And I think there is going to be other ways we can get diplomats that won't be as expensive in the future. Okay, good. So unpause, head down south, rock and roll. I have also remembered, and by remembered I mean saw when I ran it for 20 years to try and see if it was still crashing. Oh yeah, note that the morale drops when you move, by the way. Constantly. Which kind of makes sense, right? Because if you just marched all the way across the country, you'd be in no fit state to fight. Remember when I told you we definitely didn't have just 10,000 troops, or how many it said? There's the proof. Alright, everyone can rally to Seville, I think. Good. But yeah, so you lose morale as you march, which is interesting. So we need to make sure that we don't, blindly march into our enemies. Okay, what else should we be doing? I guess saving up for our son's education is probably sensible. But yeah, the other thing is I remembered, or rather saw in the game time I ran to see about the Black Death, we are going to have the Black Death. Sorry, to see about the crashes, we're going to have a Black Death. So potentially we should try and build some hospitals in our major cities to try and diminish the effects of the Black Death. Seems like a good idea. We'll be seeing about how food works in a minute here, by the way. So our armies carry food with them. Someone has announced their marriage. When the head of dynasty in our country marries. I don't think I care, to be honest. Maybe that's a bad idea, but I don't think that matters. Missing inputs. We're missing ivory, gold, fine cloth. Okay, fine cloth we might be able to rectify. Cloth. Spinner's Guild. No. Fine cloth. Tailor's Guild. There we go. Alright. Enhancements. Ooh, I didn't know there are enhancements. So you get more if you can also add in some dyes. Or some alum and dyes. Let's build a Tailor's Guild. And let's do it somewhere. Why is it more profitable here? There's loads of lost control. Why would it not be more profitable here? For example. The wool. Presumably because the wool is more expensive? But why? I'm not... It's not clicking. Oh, okay, no. When I sort by this, it looks like it is actually just close to the capital. Yeah. So as long as we still have burgers in the capital, let's just keep going on that. And then... Yeah, so some of these buildings are still unprofitable. Potters, basically. Potters and Burgos are struggling. Why are you struggling? So what's your problem? Ah, right, yeah, all these cathedrals I built are the ones that need the fine cloth. I should have checked if we had enough fine cloth. How big is the shortage, by the way? 0.38. And the fine cloth building that we just set up here... how much is that going to make? I kind of can't see because it's already built, but the equivalent ones would be like 0.7 and stuff. But we don't have any silk for that one. Okay, but it's going to be somewhere between 0.5 and 0.7, I think. So should be enough to meet that shortfall. What are the hospitals going to need? I guess that's another thing we should maybe start considering. Hospitals need, yeah, books. Medicine, mercury. We got any mercury? We do have a mercury mine. Good. Okay, the king has arrived into the army down here. G to merge. Good old school stuff. Now, we probably want to balance units. Yeah, so there's more in the center and then a bit less on the outside. Seems good. There are capital provinces, aren't there? Yeah, so that icon I think means it's a capital location, maybe? What does this one call itself? Rural settlement. Rural settlement. Okay. Well, I think that's the capital of this province, and that's the capital of this province. So if we capture this, it will auto-capture this, I believe. And because we're right next to our land, you have to get food from province capitals, I think. So when it goes here, I think they're going to show like a line from here to Sevilla, or to Seville, or whatever, or to Yarez, maybe. What's this? We can join an international organization. Interesting. Aquitaine has rivaled us. Interesting. What is this? The Pernesh Independence Movement. Sorry, the Perche, I guess. So Perche, we can join it if we want. It's just them right now. Hopefully some more French vassals may join it, and then we could potentially side against them. Okay, so we're in here, and yeah, you can see the food is coming from here to here to here. And if there was an enemy army there, I don't know if it would be able to go round, or if it would just cut it, and if we would then suddenly have no food. Aragon has rivaled us. Interesting. Can we... I guess we probably counter-rival them. They're still willing to do a defensive league, despite rivaling us. That's interesting. Right, and there's food access, which can be useful. How do I rival them? Seems like I can't. I assume because they're... Yeah, they are no match for us. Cool. So you guys... Yeah, we don't need to send everyone. And yeah, putting another person in charge, and then, yeah, another peasant, sure. To avoid trying to empower their ability too much. The rest of you... Oops, merge them all in. What's split in this one? H? No. Split is S. I'll change that. There we go. So let's send half them over here, half them over here, and then the fleet could also do with coming around here. Whoa, their fleet is fast. So because the food connection is in place, we're not losing food because we have this this connection, which is good. All right, what else is happening? I'm not interested in the movement. Although I kind of want to keep an eye on it, but not interested in joining. I don't think we're going to be able to get any ivory. Probably didn't need to raise all our troops, now I think about it, but... What's this? We won... Oh, they raised some troops just before I arrived, I guess? 16 of them. And because we've occupied this, and it's the capital, did we get an auto-occupation on this? It looks like no. Okay, so we'll march on. Keep these occupations rolling. Send half of these guys in here. Same dealio. And the Tlemceni are coming in to help, apparently. Navarra's rivaled us as well. Interesting. Don't think there's any way I'm going to be able to get a CB on them. Now, at risk of it crashing again, let's take a look at this screen. Because I think what we want to do is something like this. Gets rid of their foothold and gives us control, importantly, of... this toll. I can't see it that way. How do I... There's a sound toll here. I don't know if there's a way to... How do I see that? I can't remember. One of the map modes showed there's a sound toll here. Like there is in, you know, the Danish belts. That's not the Danish belts, is it? That's the Danish belts. This one here. Okay, 18 days, and then we siege that down. Good. So, I think we do attempt to cross. How many men have they got? Oh, they're up to 12,000, but they're all busy over here sieging Tlemcen. So you lads, we've got 2 transports here, I think. Yeah, two transports. Probably not enough for you to get on, if I had to guess. Which of these buttons is get on the boat? That one, probably. Embark. Too small. Only has a transport capacity of 800, while the army requires 1,000. So we're not far off. So what we should do then is levy up some ships, but just a few. What can we get here? A fishing boat recruitment. Yeah, just levy one there and one there. And then what, there's... Oh, I can click multiple times? No. There were just 2 available in the south, I guess. It says 6, but then there's a 1 here. Don't do that. Just levy here. We'll get 2 fishing boats out of here that we'll use to head across the straits. Get ourselves into Morocco. Nice. Good stuff. And here's the 100 Years' War. I do like the satire has not gone from the tooltips. Hopefully this will be over quickly. But there we go. So the 100 Years' War situation has started. Here are the 2 sides. And I think they do... That does mean the war has started. That's interesting. Me twice. Weird. But England, have you declared your war on France? No, they're rivaled, but they're not actually at war yet. Okay, interesting. Can I set a special interest, by the way? I guess starring here is kind of like that. Surely there is a way to set special interests. That was one of the great things about the message setting system in EU4. All right, here's our ship. That's just one ship. Why did it say there were two? Is this one ship two ships? Somehow? It doesn't seem to be. How many men can you carry? 200. That was about all we needed, I think. Let's bring it over. Hopefully it doesn't get intercepted. I don't think there's any enemy fleets here, so should be all good. Oh, death. Our third cousin. Character related to the ruler. I probably should have that pop up, but I don't really... How am I going to know when it matters? That's my problem with this system of characters. Is most of the time it seems like they don't matter. So, you know, some of the time it probably is going to matter quite a bit. So how do you tell? Now, I don't want to split it in half. I just want to, I guess, create new unit is how I do this. Send. How do I split off just a few of these troops? Ah, here we go. Yeah, so split off 1,000 feudal levies. The rest of you get on the boats. And here we go. How do I... how do I select... Well, what is that icon? That looks a little bugged. How do I select the... What's going on? Ah, there we go. So that's the navy and that's the army. Okay. So army, come on off the boats. How long does that take? Not too long. Ooh, we'll not be able to get food here. That's a good point. Suffering attrition because they're at sea. So they are going to start eating all their food. But with any luck, as soon as they occupy this, they should be able to start getting food from it, I think. Not entirely sure if that's how it works. Can you guys fit on the boats? No. So it's going to be... what's the new unit button again? Is there no shortcut for this? Humbug. You lots can get on the boat in a minute. Still can't fit? Fine, take 2 out. This lot can get on the boat. But we're going to leave until we occupy this, so I want to see what the food situation is. Because if we can't get food across here, surely you can get some kind of local food supply. Because otherwise, I mean, what the heck do you do, right? How would you ever launch an attack across here? Yeah, okay, good. We are getting food. So, 7,000. Embark army. No shortcut for embark army. And now we can drop them off straight in the port. Start spreading out. Causing trouble. Nice. Go grab them from Cadiz. Still can't fit. Let's just do this. Keep splitting and so on until they fit. Bring everyone over. Actually, is there an auto transport? Yeah, there is. Nice. Except it doesn't work. Nuts. Okay, here we go. So we finished our first building. That resource level upgrade we built here. Increased to cotton level 2. So now it's going to slowly promote up. So why are you not auto-transporting, huh? You guys here confirm. Nope. Auto-transport seems bugged. Shame. Not a big deal, though. Hopefully they'll patch that for release. You guys head over. Yeah, just keep... Oh, hang on. Why are you running low on food? Okay, I guess you can eat in a local province. So where you select is the units rather than this thing. That's a little unintuitive, but I'm sure I'll get used to it. So you have 12 unit weight. What's the supply in here? 30, so we can bring loads more over. Can I bring you over? Military objective, transport troops. Aha! Do I have to set you to transport troops? Perform navy logistics. Distribute food to coastal armies. That's cool. That's very cool. Patrol the seas, hunt navies, blockade ports. Unfortunately, none of these are transport allies, which was what I was hoping to find in there. Oh well. Not a big deal. can be made to work the old school way. So bring them all over. And yeah, no opposition yet, because they're obviously focusing on their war goal. And we do have a lack of food. Yeah, they're running out, but once they finish the occupation, they should be fine. Yes. And then they instantly refill, it looks like. Maybe when they move into a friendly province, or maybe when they complete a siege, I'm not sure. But we will, as with so many other things, we will find out. I guess that's something that would be quite easy to test, actually, wouldn't it? You guys merge up. Good. What happened to my my other leaders, by the way? Ah, did I leave some up here? Oh, I don't think I did. Will you auto-transport? Was the problem that you were right next to each other? No? A disease is present. Oh, no. What is this? 10% of these ships have malaria. That seems suboptimal. We are going to force these guys out of the port, so we might as well go and fight them there. You guys can come on down. So this ship's not repairing because the Fars market lacks naval supplies. Interesting. That's okay. I don't think the ships are damaged. Shouldn't be a problem. Do have to keep an eye on their army, but what's that individual war score up to now? 7%. So yeah, if we just kind of ravage around here, I don't know if is there loot? Is that a thing in this game? Are we damaging these provinces? Is devastation a thing? Prosperity. Surely prosperity is going to drop in occupied territory. Yes, occupied and looted. So it's looted. Is that giving it a province modifier? Not sure. Not sure. And again, short on that. And here we go. Heir can have a better education. He can, but I want to give him the expensive education, so we're going to keep saving up for another 10 months. Prestigious family request aid. Our first event. 170 for 10% satisfaction on the nobility, which they will instantly just decay away. Oof. But minus 10 on them seems bad. In states enrichment. What does that mean? This is how much the state can withhold from the taxable income each month. Because of trade income versus tax base. Oh yeah, we didn't do the trading. I was meant to do trading. No, I'm not going to give you aid. It's going to make you really unhappy, which is unfortunate, but you'll tick back up. So yeah, we didn't say, I said I was going to go to here and manually do some trades. Some suggested trades. Importing some of this stuff will make us money, but we're building our own local thing to deal with that. Where's it gone? I built it in the capital. Has it already finished? No, it's under production, so why isn't it in this list? Maybe it hasn't started yet. Because there's a shortage of production goods? Or because you can only produce one thing in a province at a time? Maybe? Not sure. Well, I'm not going to import silk, because I want to make our own silk. But I will import anything else. So, yes, that's saffron import. Let's do it. Some jewelry? Sure. So, how does importing work? Is it sensible to import stuff? Aren't I screwing my local producers out of an opportunity to do something if I import stuff? Maybe that ignores benefit from trade. Maybe I should specialize. Is there an advantage to specialization? As it is, though. I'm just going to import all that stuff. And did that use up all my trade capacity? This screen is not very clear. Okay, so there's lots of stuff going on. Some of which was pre-existing, I guess. Okay. And it's mostly exports. Interesting. So how much is this? We're using all of our trade capacity now. Yes, okay. Okay then. We'll consider that good for now. And it crashed again. Oh. All right. I will report these crashes and see if anything can be done. It's unfortunate. I imagine it's just a pre-release problem. I wouldn't take it as indicative as it being a crashy game. Lambert tells me he hasn't had any crashes. But I'm going to call the episode there. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Hopefully we can get this resolved and I can keep recording. Okay, so we dealt with a bunch of these last episode. Right, yeah, so there is this This promotion is happening here, right? Yeah, 14 monthly promotions. There are plenty of opportunities, which is causing an extra 7. Lack of control is lowering it. It's good to know that lack of control lowers promotion, actually. I hadn't really considered that when I was thinking about building a bit of stuff in the south. Our road network, in order to try and extend our control via increased proximity, is ongoing in the north. And the war against Morocco is continuing, so let's get it. I'm going to try and accelerate the rate of sieging here. And you know what, actually? The Moroccan army is all the way over here. Let's experiment. Let's use the carpet siege thing. So you click to add provinces, and then right-click to remove them, which is not intuitive to me, but it is in the tooltip, so I have no excuse for it taking me so long to realize. So carpet siege, do like this. Whoa, shift-click selected the whole country. Is that a region? As an area. How do I select a whole province? Control click. Okay, good to know. Carpet siege these provinces. I'm trying to not select forts here, basically. Carpet siege that area. Go for it. Now, will it split the army up? Yes, it will. It immediately split it into 2 armies. Not necessarily how I would have done that. Okay, it's doing it again, splitting off some more. That's kind of fun. Hang on, we'll deal about that in a second. It's kind of fun that you can see the individual little armies walking off from the big cluster. Oh, hey, and the textures aren't bugged anymore. Nice. There was a hotfix patch today. And I've also switched which graphics engine I'm working on, so hopefully we won't have any more crashes. Those textures do look pretty good. What's this called, by the way, the thing the horse is wearing? I looked it up so that I could do a proper bug report. Called a... Where is it? Comparison. Comparison, I think is what those are called. Something like that. Anyway, burghers complain. No pain, no gain. Prestige for lower prestige. Or move towards plutocracy and they get 10%. This seems like a no-brainer. 10% burger satisfaction. Although it's their satisfaction is already trending down. So this is effectively going to give them 2 years of raised loyalty. But I think that's worth having. And yeah, we move towards plutocracy, but it doesn't annoy the aristocrats, so that's fine. And it will just tick back towards aristocracy anyway. One thing I did notice while I was clicking around between episodes. So buildings, some buildings are worked by different people, right? But the tanneries, for example, this, how do I see it? This tannery here is worked by burghers, right? Oh, it's only not fully employed up here in the capital. Interesting. This is the capital, isn't it? Yeah. But anyway, it's being worked by them, and you can see it's got production efficiency here. And the production efficiency is affected by the burghers' satisfaction, which I think is interesting. So that's going to be, yeah, it's important to keep your estates loyal, which obviously we knew already, but all right, I'm going to deal with some of these. Pops with needs. I mean, we should probably try and look into that, right? Missing input goods, wheat, silver. What are you missing silver for? What building is using silver? Some jewelers' guilds. Yeah, we are expanding our silver mines though, so with any luck, that will help. So how is this carpet sieging looking? It's distributing the units somewhat slowly. Not terribly though. Oh, and where's our fleet? It is in position, good, because this fleet is about to get kicked out into the strait. Let's advance our larger armies towards the where the enemy army is here. We won that basically immediately because they're just transports. Nice. They got 25 Navy experience. Oh yeah, right. So there's experience. I hadn't realized this. But if we look at our army screen, we've got army tradition and then army experience. Experience. That's got to be too loud, right? That audio. Let me turn that down a bit. That music. Always paranoid about the music being too loud and you not being able to hear me. There's army tradition and army experience. So if we look at our navy here, we can see that each of these guys has a certain amount of experience, and it decays over time. But blockading decreases the decay rate. That's interesting. And then when you have experience, it translates into naval tradition. It's one of the things that buff it up, because your average naval experience is increasing the naval tradition, which is cool. And what does naval tradition actually do? Nothing when you have none, right? That makes sense. Army tradition gives morale, great power, progress towards the land focus, and siege ability. It's cool. It's cool. Oh, and by the way, last episode, auto transport didn't work, but I used it in testing, and now it's not working again. Weird. I don't know what is causing it to... Excuse me, I wanted you here. So I don't know what's causing it to sometimes work and sometimes not. You guys... Oh yeah, I should set up... What's a good embark? I think A works as an embark shortcut rather. Yeah, that seems good. You guys hop on. Pop them over here. Yeah, so that carpet sieging... I mean, it's not great, is it? Is it still sending more people out? Your military objective is to carpet siege this whole area, and yet you've sent out kind of 4 armies, and no more. Not really good enough, honestly, for me to want to let the AI handle it. But that's okay, because I quite like commanding my armies in EU4. I imagine the same will be the same. The same will be true here. How do I deselect a unit from this list? Can I shift click here, control click here, right click here, shift click here? That selected the army. Control click here, right click here. I can disband it. There must be a way. Surely they didn't get rid of that feature. Please tell me. Well, that is atrocious. that's how you command armies in Europa Universalis games and Crusader Kings games. Come now. I don't see a way to do it though. Well, that's a choice. Never mind. So I guess the best way to do it is now to like click through like this and tell each of them to go somewhere different. That kind of works. It's quite a lot more cumbersome than it used to be, but it's the kind of thing that hopefully they'll patch. Right, so now all these things we've built are now missing employees, but hopefully... it gives me an estimate of how long until they fill. Cool. So we'll let that keep working. Carpet siege, ahoy. Occupation successful over here. Yeah, Tlemcen got that siege, which is not ideal. Can you siege with just 900 people? Yeah, and also, if possible... I'd like to be the one that get these sieges in the north, because we could take some of this northern coastline. Yes, I can siege with 900. Is there a limit? I don't know. Is there a go-to button on that that pop-up, by the way? The siege completed pop-up? I hope so. So that would be useful. Right, so here's this controller change thing. The controller is changing because we have the capital province of Wazan. So because I sieged this, we get auto control of everything in that province. Cool. Which normally, of course, would be something with a fort on it. There is a go-to. Is Z the default go-to button? There's no default go-to button, or at least it's not in the tooltip. Hang on, let me check the settings. Can't find that pop-up. That seems odd. I assume I'm just missing it. It's quite a long list of pop-ups. All right, you guys keep on heaping on. In fact, there's no fort here, is there, actually? Oh, we should definitely... pursue occupying there then. It's Fars that has the big fort. Cool. How are we doing war score wise, by the by? We're at 14, but they're very likely to accept because they are very low war enthusiasm. So why is that? Let's start learning about these things. Where's your war enthusiasm shown? Is it in here? I don't think so. Here? No? War leader? I guess maybe it's only on this screen. Stability is -8. War enthusiasm. There we go. It's 8%. Ooh, it starts at a base of 50. Okay. They don't like they're under siege. They don't like the military balance. Alliance war score. What's the difference between military balance and alliance war score? Oh, these aren't tooltips. Okay. What would the difference between military balance be? They're not happy about having lost some ships. They're happy their capital's not occupied. Okay. Well, I'm pretty sure... yes. This is a known bug that they are working on. That this current war thing pops up. I hope restarting or reloading a save will get rid of it. Hang on. Yes, good. Reloading did indeed fix that. Good stuff. Hopefully it won't happen immediately again when I do this. No, good. Okay, let's negotiate. Hey, Morocco, I'd like this land. Yeah, okay, they're not going to be much more than this right now. But what could we take, realistically? I mean... Oh, yeah, and right, this is something else that I think is slightly counterintuitive. Not problematic, but counterintuitive. You can't just click to accept to add to prestige and then click to remove, which would seem useful, but you right-click to remove. I got quite confused about that. But we could take, like, a lot. We could take all of this. The provinces are smaller than vanilla, right? Vanilla. I mean than EU4. They're quite a bit smaller. We probably don't want to take too far inland. But I'm honestly tempted to try and, like, what if we did this and get towards this gold mine? Be funny, right? Cause a lot of problems in terms of coalitions, but I would love that gold mine. So what about something like this? People in the coalition, it's funny how it kind of recalculates when you hover. Would be Morocco, Granada, Tafilol, and Tuat. That's fine. And it's not problematic. We can handle that size of a coalition. The other thing I thought about is maybe before we end this war, we should declare war on Granada. Because Granada... This really confuses me, right? You click on Morocco, you go to Morocco, you see actions. Then you go to relations, and it's my relations. Obviously what I want to see is Morocco's relations. But to do that, you click here, and then you see their relations. Very counterintuitive, but with many as with many counterintuitive things, once you understand them, it doesn't really matter because you just, you know how they work. So they have an alliance with Morocco, so we should declare on Granada before we end this war, I think. So maybe we do get the Siege of Fars done. And do I push to try and get this gold mine? Because if our minting were really 50% more efficient, sorry, 100% more efficient, because we get rid of the minus 50%, that would be huge for us economically. Huge. I think we probably push for it in the second war, though. It would be a bit aggressive to push down here, especially because I think with the control we'd really have trouble. So let's take something like this. They're already willing to accept this. Do I want to make anything special in here? Sugar, olives. I want to take this cotton. I don't think there's anything particularly fancy along this coast that we really need. And then looking at ports, by the way, natural harbour. I've been looking into where we might want to build ports, and yes, Sevilla, which I think is how I'm going to decide I'm going to pronounce that, is really good. Lisbon is good too, because it's got Lisburgs. It's got the farmlands, which gives you the monthly dev growth up 10%, whereas places like this with the wetlands giving you the minus 30, whereas Lisburg just gets flatlands. So yeah, trying to grow up Cadiz, I think, will be potentially challenging, but I think probably worth it because the big harbour capacity, big port buildings costs. I also, of course, I have no idea how urgently we need good harbours. Like how much port capacity do I need? I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out together. Speaking of building things, can I assume I can take money off you? Yes. Does it cause antagonism? It doesn't. Excellent. Okay, we are going to do some sieging then, because it's weird that I can... It needs to not highlight. In fact, you know what? I'm going to make that suggestion on the Discord right now. Don't highlight the plus button when you can't click it. Okay, so... I think this is probably what we want. Something like this. This gives us a coalition of just Morocco and Granada. And then we immediately go to war with Granada before the war ends. And probably what we take off Granada is just money and annul treaties. Can you annul treaties? I didn't actually look through all of this. So, Morocco becomes a vassal. We actually could do this? Needs to be occupied for the part of the streets. No, peace costs 300. Okay. We could do Tafiolot as a vassal, though. That'd be funny. Abandon piracy. Interesting. They enact the anti-piracy policy in the piracy laws. Ah. Cool. So we can do letters of marque later. That'll be fun. Very, very British of us. Block them from building. What? Oh, in our territory. Okay. Execute ruler. Jesus. You have to control their capital. Cause 5 antagonism. Kills them. Jesus. And we get executed a ruler for 50 years. What does that give us? -5 Diplo rep. That's pretty intense. And then there's humiliate. We get some prestige for prestige. Cool. I don't think we need that. Like, we're almost at our prestige ticking cap anyway. Dismantle forts. Ooh. That's cool. That's very cool. So you can kind of force demilitarize somebody. I assume they just build them again. But still, it's expensive. We can release subjects. We can liberate countries. In fact, yeah, we should probably do that as well, right? Or maybe we should vassal feed. Maybe I should vassal feed Fez. My first vassal feed of EU5? Because if we just take this province, we could release Fez from here, assuming releasing vassals works kind of the way it usually does. And by usually does, I mean, you know, not in vanilla, in EU4. It's not a mod. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Let's experiment with that, because then maybe if we decide we can't hold on to this land for ourselves for now, because it being, you know, Mazmunda and Sunni is too much hassle, and we just give it all to Fez. That seems cool as well. I like the idea of my first, you know, baby's first vassal feed. Okay, cool. So we're going to occupy a little bit more land, and then we're going to... Whoa, why is my army maintenance gone down? That's weird. Why would my army maintenance automatically have gone back to 50%? Because I had raise army maintenance on. Weird. Not sure what's going on there. That's all right, though. We can just turn that off. No worries. Yeah, so things like this. Our ruler's second cousin and a courtier. I think we're gonna... I don't want pop-ups about this. She drowned at sea. Where are you going? Yeah, I don't... There's too many pop-ups like that for my liking. So I'm going to turn them off. All right, so we've got all these. They're still doing that siege. Let's go home. We'll do it via this port here. Tangiers. Ooh, what was that? Hey! Our son is intelligent. More admin ability during his education. Excellent. Is he my oldest? He is. My boy, we are going to pay for your education with Moroccan gold. Oh, that's satisfying. Why is this tooltip so wide? Sometimes, but not always. That's weird. Alright. Wayward weather. Weather systems are currently affecting our our country. A cyclone. It's increasing. It's affecting 0. Could cause wind damage, sandstorm, and a storm surge. That's cool. Whoa, what was that? It was visible just for a second. There it is. How cool is that? But then it goes away as soon as you zoom out or move the camera. That's cool though. And it moves presumably? Yeah, it does. Look at that. Oh, it's gone. Okay. The graphics on that can use a little bit of work, but... Right, unprofitable buildings. Yeah, do I... Give me a hint. Make sure input goods are cheaper. Some of those can be subsidized. Maybe I should be subsidizing buildings relevant to the war effort. All right, these guys got a disease again. Yeah. Let's try again with auto transport. No? No, it's not liking it. And why isn't A working? Ah, yes. You can't... Hang on. Maybe you can. If I hit... There's no way to attach and then you just leave with these and a sufficient number leave? Like as many as can fit on leave when you hit attach? You have to divide it such that they will attach? That's annoying. Oh well. Cool. Suggestion made. You know how I said it only sent out a few armies to carpet siege? I bet that was because it was just targeting the capital provinces. Because you don't need to siege down the other ones. So maybe it's better than I was giving it credit, which is cool. And keeping the rest all in one army rather than evenly spreading out is also good for attrition management. So it's probably actually a good thing, really. Do we have enough for our demands, by the way? Not quite. Right, no, sorry. I've stopped sieging too early. Well, is it worth sieging for a bit more money? We're spending not much on being at war in terms of army maintenance. We can beat Morocco. We can fight them both simultaneously. Let's fight them both simultaneously. So to beat Morocco's army, they got 14k. We will leave behind 30k, and then the rest will transport home. That seems good. Yeah, this embarking UX is quite a lot worse than it used to be, but oh well. Not everything will be perfect. Many things are very good. So we can forgive. Well, I can forgive some flaws. Whether you can, dear viewer, I suppose is up to you. Oh, is that? Oh, I didn't mean to transport quite that many over. Never mind. You lot, let's go hang out down here. Ready to react if they start causing bits funky business. Oh, and you've got no food? Go home to this market region. Why have you got no food? Daily change 0. But daily consumption 0. Maybe navies don't need food? But they can... Ah, not gathering food. Yeah, you should gather food. Okay. Because by having food with them, we can you can distribute food to armies when it's needed. Alright, so ready to march on Granada. Let's go up here. Good stuff. The Liberen... Oh yeah, and you can't pause during events anymore, which is annoying. What about priest? Did I actually put that on my changed list? I've been making a list. You know I would, but allow us to unpause during events. Obviously, this is possible because surely that's how it works in multiplayer. But I wonder if I could get the setting I want by playing multiplayer with no one else there. That would be funny. One of our priests has studied the subject of love and differences between what he calls good and foolish love intensely. Juan Ruiz has now published a revised collection of the material. The manuscript contains an autobiography of the Tessel. This is good. 61 ducats for some population growth, telling everyone how good love is. And he moves to us and makes a thing. How talented is he? He's already 54, so he's not gonna be that long for his way. He's a lazy artist. He's pretty good. I'm not paying for a 54-year-old lazy artist. I want younger artists with more vim and vigor than that. Oh, you've abandoned the siege of Fars, have you? Well, I guess I'll do it then. How many people do I need to siege Fars with? Let's learn. It's got a fort level of 2. Fort level, this affects the fortifications that a location has. Thank you, Tiltip. This impacts the size of the garrison. Yes. For a location without fortifications, there need to be at least 100 men. Needs to be as many members sieging it as the men in the garrison. Okay. So how many people are in your garrison? Where do I see that? Location menu. No. Military. There we go. 200? Really? Only as many are needed? So if I create a new unit, which I got to remember the button for. That's right. It's this one. There's all the buttons here, and then there's a different one here. It's all right. Create a new unit. Send 700. Really, this army can siege them? It seems unlikely, but I mean, yeah, and indeed it is wrong. Oh no, that's that the building. That's that the building is stalled. Okay, so here's the siege. 36-day ticks. Siege's been going on for 1 day, and if I rock up with everybody else, oh yeah, and I assume you should probably have a have our second best general. I assume general skill has some impact. Whoa. Ah, they accepted a peace offer from Tlemcen. They gave me some land, but not all the land I wanted. Was there a button to say, hey, don't allow separate pieces? I bet there was, and I bet I just missed it. Nuts! All right, that's a step back, but it allowed Tlemcen to yoink a bit of land off them, weakening our future enemy. So we'll accept it, I think. Right, army levies raided in peace. We will need to stand down the levies. I could obviously just reload, have my own peace deal, but that would be cheesy. So let's not do that. These are not levies, right? These are regulars. Yeah. So I think we still declare on Granada all the same, and that'll just put us back at war with Morocco. That seems good to me. Are those buildings populating, by the way? Yeah, look, most of them are now populated. And if we check out the population screen, we'll probably see some migration. Yes. Whoa, this screen is laggy. Fair amount of migration to a few places. How do I see overall migration to this province? I can see migration attraction, pop growth percent. Here we go. 31 peasants migrated in the last month. 11 were born. 452 came back from levy duty. Cool. All right, fun. So are we full on? How are our buildings looking? We still have some available burghers in the capital. We didn't get any money from that peace deal as part of the annoyance. I was going to pay for my son's education with that stuff. And Morocco has been driven from Iberia. Happy day. We get 10 religious influence and, hey, a bunch of money. We can pay for our son's education with Moroccan gold after all. So, we can do a balanced education, administrative education, diplomatic, military, or expensive. Now, expensive is the one that costs the 250. And you get 0.275. But if we give him admin, he gets 0.25 for the other two. But one, these some, for admin. So if we wanted to focus on admin for the crown power, but I think a balanced but expensive education is probably wise. 2% expected costs of court is interesting. So let's look at this. Right now, we're spending 10.73, and that's getting us 0.38. Sorry, 0.39. Okay, so when I go, hey, Sonny boy, have an expensive education, then I go in here, we're spending more for the same. Okay, because we are still doing a 54% investment. It's just it's 54% of 12.7% of the tax base rather than anything else. Okay. I think we can afford to cut back on that a little. Let these guys get home. Then we disband them. I can't disband them. You have no army levies raised. Sure about that? Because there's literally thousands of them right here. There we go. Disband. Good. Okay, so now all the army levies are down. Got to do the navy levies as well, though. There we go. Okay. So now you chappies, try and auto-transport. No dice. Oh well. Come pick them up. God, the ships are so fast. So, we're making quite a bit of money from trade, huh? You only make a percentage of money from trade equal to your crown power, though, which is pretty low because we gave it all those reforms. So, oh, hey, we have tribes now. Interesting. We should probably do something about making them a bit more loyal. Could also, yeah, even with no tax there, they're not very happy. Oh no, this isn't. It hasn't actually set the no tax yet. Fair enough. Fair enough. We could afford to. Why are we spending more on this? It was for actually getting the monthly diplomats to power our spy networks, right? We could spend a bit less on this. God, our stability is still really low. Okay. Well, what's this, by the way? I don't think I built this. A stone quarry. Did I build that? No, look, it's the clergy. The clergy are building stuff. Cool. Very cool. Right, what should we do now? What's this? A law not codified. Slave conversion. Oh yeah, we haven't really looked at... We have a bunch of laws, I think, that we need to look into. So we can allow slave religion. Slaves have already been forced to abandon their homes, put into a life of servitude. We can at least keep them their beliefs and rituals. Gives us more humanist. This gives us more spiritualist and allows conversion of slaves. Unemployed slave promotion goes up. That's interesting. So people can stop being slaves if they're unemployed. That would be good. Makes them more likely to rebel. Oh, this gives 10% slave output, though. And more literacy, but only 1%. I think we've got to go the spiritualist path. It costs us some money. Okay. And yeah, we could be a coalition target from Morocco and Granada. You guys hop on the boat. And you army can rally, can rally north of Cordoba. Do we declare the war on Granada immediately? I think we do, while Morocco is weakened. I would like to get a province so I can release Fez. How is our control down here, by the way? Oh yeah, right, coring and stuff. So this right now is a province. What does this mean? Integration status. Current status as conquered rural status. Lower max control, low garrison growth, more separatism. Okay. So what we need to do is integrate it, and we do that. All right, there's no shortcut for these tabs. We do that with the cabinet. So, what do you integrate with? Integrate province is military. Okay, well, you're good at that. You can stop developing the capital for a minute. Integrate province. This one. In fact, we need to do it on both. Go integrate that one first. And you're not as good at it. Moving towards innovative. What is our balance on that right now? Where's our... I have to go 3 tooltips deep, huh? Currently still traditionalist. But we're moving over. We're moving over. And we'll still move over even when I switch you to instead do a little integrating of your own up here. How long does that take? 8 years. Gosh. Holy crap. Integration is turbo slow down here. Because progresses by 2.29 each month because of power projection, a law we have, the base value for every province, and integrate province, that's his skill. What, is this faster? No, it's not faster. It must be that the thing they're trying to achieve is larger. Is there more information in this tooltip? Not really. Why is the one progressing faster happening later then? It must be that there's some cost to integrate each province. And in paying that cost... Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, there must be some cost, which I'm not seeing. Some total cost. What's that button do? Nothing? It's just pointing at this, I guess. Okay. Interesting. All right, so there's our integrations going. Because right now, we're going to have like, no control. Yeah, 0 control in these provinces. Which is probably going to cause rebellion. Which you see somewhere or other. Geopolitics? Military? Geopolitics seems likely. But rebellion is a disease, I tell you. No? Diplomacy? Society. People. Rebels. Okay. So we have Andalusi patriots, Mahmuda patriots, and Moroccan patriots. And they're all making rebel progress. And they have funding because there's lack of control. They have some nationalism and there's a base. And the power of their support is lowering it. Okay. So, does it tell me when it estimates it will rise? Like it did in EU4? No. Okay, never mind. But yeah, so we do have some potential problems from rebels now. Which we will need to keep an eye on. All right, there's our army. Didn't we have 250 men? And it is costing manpower to replenish them now. Cool. Non-integrated provinces. The following provinces are not being integrated. Cadiz. Ah, because I'm integrating here and here, not Cadiz. I should probably integrate Cadiz as a higher priority. Ooh, you can increase max control. That's interesting. But no, we should be... Where's integrated province gone? This list should be... There's no reason you shouldn't fit all this on one screen. Scroll anytime there's a scroll bar. Rethink your design. We'll integrate Cadiz as well. We already have it partly integrated, so it's starting at 75%. Because this area, I may give this to our Fez vassal while we get our society more able to handle integrating overseas territory. Cool. Okay, so more with Granada, I think. Seems good. Are we taxing these guys at all, by the way? We are allowed to. And they're trending towards 57. So why are we not taxing them? Ah, because it generates no money. Why not? Oh, there's no control in any of the provinces that they own. Right. Makes sense. Is there any reason to not declare war on Morocco right now? I don't think there is. And how much antagonism did we get from that? Where's the antagonism map mode? It's not one of the default ones. Oh yeah, the tactical map mode's interesting. It's like a combination between the forts map mode and the simple terrain map mode. That's useful. I should let's use that. Control H. God no. The map mode selection system is much worse than EU4's. EU4 has the best map mode selection system where you can have multiple map modes and individual shortcut keys. It's so intuitive. It's so good. Just port it. But not a big deal. What did I want to look at? Antagonism. In fact, maybe every time I use a map mode, I should start starring it. And then I know, because I know I'm going to want to come back to it. Does the order is not based on the order you select them. No matter. So, antagonism. Basically, I don't want to get Tlemcen into a coalition against us, or Tunis. So we can take another 20 worth of antagonism, which I think we'll do by taking like this province and this province in order to release Fez. Where do I see the cause on this province? This location, yeah. Location menu. Can you not? Surely you can. Come now. Do I have to, like, search for Fez? No. How would one do this? Where would it be? Military? Surely they haven't removed the ability to see cores of countries that don't exist. Maybe that's not how it works anymore. I can't see it anywhere. And I guess now I think about it, I don't have any particularly good reason to think that that is definitely how the system works. So I'm just going to assume it isn't for now. Okay, yeah, war with Granada, I think. Oh, wait, hang on. We don't have a CB. We don't have a CB. Why can't I? Yeah, there we go. So declare war. We could declare war with no CB, but that's going to immediately cause... I mean, not a terrible amount of antagonism, honestly. I think they're kind of expecting that you're going to have more no CB wars than in the past. But 50% extra conquer state for the attacker is a little intense. So how do we get a CB on them? Well, we could create a religious war CB. A religious war CB gives 20% conquer state at cost. So still significant. But we need 20 spy network. We can wait for that, I think. Yeah, with excommunicated ruler is minus 25%. Very nice. Disrupting trade. 900% conquer cost. Anti-piracy war. It's true, actually. It says costs, not antagonism. So no, there's 0% modified conquer. Max antagonism for the attacker. When it says conquer cost, I assume that means it doesn't increase the antagonism. When it says max antagonism, surely there's no limit the amount of antagonism that you can take during a war. Increases conquer cost, but not max antagonism. Or I've just noticed it also costs 25 stability and 2 war exhaustion. That's pretty intense. I don't actually know what war exhaustion does yet. Gives you... At 1 war exhaustion, you get minus 1% trade efficiency, pop growth down. Yeah, that's pretty nasty. No unrest, though. Interesting. Interesting. I think I'm going to assume for now that conquer cost affects both war score cost and antagonism costs. So yeah, we want to fabricate that religious war. We need a bit of a spy network. Fine, that works. Let's keep waiting on that spy network then. Is that not in my outliner? Can I turn it on? Ooh, we have a visit. Spy networks. No? Is it already here? Am I just missing it? No, apparently not. Okay, well, we'll just keep track of it on the map then. No worries. A visit. Visited a monastery in Guadeloupe. While there, he donated several trophies. We can create a regionally renowned art piece and start building a monastery building. It will cost 33. So we're actually going to lose 66. We're going to lose 99. Well, we can't spend the money to do some prestige. Do I care about a monastery in Guadeloupe? Not really. To be honest, oh, there is some wind damage here. Cool. No, I think we're okay. I'm going to take the prestige here on that one. It's interesting not knowing, not just having a default option on all these events. Presumably because if we declared war on Grenada now, we couldn't full call Morocco. We'd also take more aggressive expansion. But I think just 2 provinces and it's just, 50,000 people. It's not too big. Hopefully it wouldn't cause too much aggressive expansion. They're very unhappy, by the way. Because we don't like... Sunni doesn't like Catholicism. Castilian doesn't tolerate Sunniism. They lack silver, ivory, pottery, jewelry, sturdy grains, livestock, and rice. And they're conquered, minus 50%. When does that conquered thing go away? And where is it shown? Because this is where I know to look for country modifiers. Doesn't appear to be here. Maybe it's because of this. This is the conquered bit. Yeah. Okay. I should probably build up a bit of a chest of money before I spend more of it. Yeah, these things are filling out slowly. Not integrating places, but yeah, we're working on it. Is there no, expansion integration screen like there used to be? Territory. Oh yeah, we could do some expeditions, but we need the money right now, I think. We'll get into that for sure, but for now I think we probably need the money. I don't want Portugal to beat us to the Azores and stuff though. Oh, what the heck, let's do some exploring. How much did it cost to start? 250 sailors, which we've got, and 100 cash. I mean, it's all we got, but let's go and look at the Madeira Sea. And we will launch from Sevilla. And who will explore for us? Someone kind of well-rounded, I think. Like you. Pedro. Pedro, my nobleman. Preparation will last 252 days, after which they'll set out into the unknown. Heck yes. So we're preparing the expedition, which I assume shows up on the map. It does. Excellent. They need lumber, tools, naval supplies, cloth, and liquor. And there is a shortage of some of those things, I think. Let's see if it manages to make progress when I unpause. Yes, it is making progress, even though there is a slight shortage, looks like. Good. Okay. That's fun. We'll explore down here, see what we can find, see if there's anywhere for us to colonize. We can probably launch a land exploration of this region as well, but don't know how that'll go. Cool. What's going on? Right, yes. Missing naval supplies, which I assume will stall this. Or maybe it's just because they're demanding it that we're missing it. The life of the king. Some prestige. And we invite an artist. Yeah. Sure, sounds good. And how do we track culture, works of art? Where do we see? Here we go. We've got one artist right now, and he's free. That's what we like. And can I? Oh, I can ennoble him. Nobles don't like it. Move towards aristocracy. Joins the nobility estate. Founds a new dynasty. We can execute him. We can marry him to a lowborn, and we can marry him to a noble. Cool. Cool. So hopefully he'll make us some new works of art. Oh, our cultural influence is declining. What do we need for that? More. Was it Oh, nested tooltips, man. Okay, I need to change the settings on how nested tooltips deselect themselves. All right, that feels better. At 0.25 unlock, I can now temporarily go off it. Excuse me? It's when you start hovering over a new tooltip, it comes in. Yeah. Okay, that's another setting I'll change. There we go. Okay, so now we can open a tooltip, hover off, and then... anyway. From locations. It's because of the universities, yes? Yes, and our other universities are having problems. Why are you not generating as much as you could? Because you lack books. Okay, we're working on that. We're building... No, we're not currently working on that. Okay. We're short on books. It's making our universities not good. And then the universities are therefore not managing. What am I looking for here? Economy, markets. Yeah, the Burgos market. We must have a shortage of books. Yeah, there it is. Okay. We have a shortage of 2.8 still. And do our scriptorums... How do I view how the scriptorums are doing? Here we go. They're all working. They're all fully employed. Okay, so we need some more. How much do they make each? 1. Okay, how many are we short? I've already forgotten. What does automating this do, by the way? Investigate that at least. It automates the construction. How much money do they spend? Right, where was I? Yeah, so we're short. Markets, this market. We're short 3 books. Give me... Can we afford this? Oh, we actually probably can't afford any more scriptoriums, unfortunately. Let me see. They cost 30. We can afford 1. Where should we start building them? I guess just close to the capital? It's where it's going to give us the most money. But should I be diversifying where I'm building stuff more? I think until I run out of available workers, I don't really see why I would. We should be saving money, though. I should be saving money. I'm trying to save money, but meanwhile, you're expanding our bookmaking industry and sending explorers abroad. It's not what we need. Our heir is on a balanced education. What? You're not my heir. Why are you my heir? What happened to my other kid? Why are you the heir? Are we on Ultramagenta, whatever it's called? Hang on a minute. No, our youngest son is not our heir. Who's our heir? You. Why are you the heir? Let me have a look here. Where's my where are my succession laws? Where would that be? Feudal laws. Feudal de jure laws. By tradition, which makes the peasants happier. Could also be by blood, which gives faster integration. Interesting. Not what I'm looking for, though. Legal code? Don't think so. Religious laws. Heir religion, same religion. Did you convert? No, he's Catholic. Why aren't you my heir? Spent all this money on expensive education. Maybe I can get to it from the heir tooltip. Next in line, determine my succession law. Yeah. But what's my succession law? Hang on, let me hunt for this off camera. Maybe here is where we see it. Because we are on cognatic primogenitor. The heir is the oldest male of the current ruler. Yes, so eligibility rules. Through siblings, can go through female lines. Allowed children, allow male, allow female. Current ruler is ignored. Allowed estates, nobility, and crown. Marked as follows. Score for men, 100. Score for legal male, 100. Score for underage. Ah, designated heir. First in line's him. Why? Ooh, can I make it you? Can I designate you my heir? How do I designate heir? Select consort. I already have a consort. Oh, my wife, of course. Who has one kid. Is he a bastard? Maybe he's a bastard. His mother is my ruler's third cousin. Is he illegitimate? Yes, there we go. He's a bastard. Well, why did the pop-up take me to him last time? Maybe it didn't. Maybe I just made a mistake. Alright, switch him back to an educator. Oh, it's going to cost me some legitimacy. We wasted 250 ducats educating the wrong kid. Crap. That's not good. It doesn't show that he's a bastard on here. Ah, it does. It's down here. Okay. So, my real heir is this guy. He's unbalanced right now. He's rowdy, which helps him get military skill. Okay, that's good. Well, for now, I guess I should switch him onto something. Because, well, actually, maybe not. Because this one gives you a... No, yeah, they're the same, right? This one gives you 1.5 overall, and this one gives you 1.5 overall. And I would probably like him to be more focused on admin. So we'll put him on admin for now. And then we'll switch him to educate expensive when we can afford it again. It's going to cost us another 250 ducats. Outrageous. All that Moroccan gold spent educating a bastard. Nuts. Ooh, okay. Ghanai's joined a coalition against us. Presumably Morocco can't, so I don't know if that actually does anything, functionally speaking. But I'm sure it's making them feel better. We're getting one more a month in spy network against Granada. Yeah. Still missing the naval supplies down here. This expedition is still progressing though, yes? Yes. We should probably build some naval supplies down here. That would seem appropriate. Would you do that? A wharf, I assume? No, doesn't look like it. Naval Supplies Guild, there we go. Uses all this stuff. Oh, and I've got the same icon on those two. Have I reported that one? I think I reported that one already. What does this need? Tin, copper, tar. We have some tar here, yes. Alright, make another Naval Supplies Guild here. That'll be good for us. Did that work? I clicked on it, but then... Oh yeah, there it is. Good, we are making one. An unlikely inheritor. Landed member of the nobles have died. The current title should pass this. A distant relative. Invest the new nobles. They don't like it. We move more towards plutocracy. Or usurp it for ourselves. We don't get any money for that? Yeah, I'm happy with moving more. Oh, we get 10 towards centralization. Never mind. I should stop complaining. That's really good. I will absolutely take that. 14th power in the world. Based on all kinds of things. Sorting score. Cool. Tar kilns inefficient down here. Well, we're working on that. Although we're going to build this first. Can we build one thing in a province at a time? I remember now. How are our values going, by the way? We're going towards innovative. Not fast, but we're going. We're going. Those integrations are happening. It takes a long time to integrate stuff. Ooh, low food in the Fars market. This is automated, though, so I didn't automate. No, I have automated my markets. That's right. But then, what have I not automated? Trading. Ooh, we can export some jewelry to Alexandria. And to other places. And we can import some books. No, we're making local books. If I've automated all my markets, what does this button do? I don't know. Interesting. What's that you're building? Does it not say anywhere? You have to hover? A settlement. Gives more migrant attraction and more population growth. 1% pop growth. That's kind of insane, actually. Or is that a modifier? Maybe it's a modifier. If it's a modifier, it's so small, you'd think it was inconsequential. With the spoils awards secured, we have the opportunity to commemorate our victory over the Moroccan armies with a grand monastery. You're just trying to get me to spend all my money. You get a new masterpiece palace monastery. I mean, yeah, we'll have to take out a loan, I assume, at the end of the day. Maybe at the end of the month. Except we won't at the end of the month because we're, I think it's speed 4. Because we'll earn some more money. But sure, we'll build a monastery up here. So is that a special kind of monastery? Because weren't we already building a monastery up here? Or is it like a work of art, that thing that we just built? The Palace Monastery of Santa Clara probably isn't here till it's finished building, I guess. Ah, yeah, okay, they jumped the queue. We were building a normal monastery, now we're building a cathedral, I think? Because this looks like it's half done already. Or maybe we got half done because it was from an event. I don't know. There's lots of things I still need to work out. Oh, another storm coming through, I'm guessing. Yep, there it is. It looks a little janky, moving once per day. Non-enforcement of ordinances. Let them handle it. Some more control in this one region. Lose 10 legitimacy if I don't step in. Yeah, it's going to annoy the nobles, but I think I am going to step in. How's the 100 Years' War going, by the way? Looks like France is winning. Cool. Maybe we ally France then. They're not interested right now. They will get too many relations if we ally them. Okay, that's annoying. But, I mean, maybe France isn't the right play. Who's Aragon allied to, by the way? If anyone. No one, I think. They're married to Navarra. Okay. The Book of Hunting. We've gathered expressive information about the state of hunting grounds in Castile. Cool. We get the Book of Hunting, which gives wild game output plus 20%. Hey, that's good. Another storm. God, we get a lot of cyclones. Hey, nice. The Portuguese minister has been widely praised for bringing fresh ideas to court. Excellent. Legitimacy going up. That's what we need for our mission, right? Where have my missions gone? Did I unpin those? Where are they? We did have a mission active, didn't we? Remind me where those were. I can't find the friggin' missions at all. Never mind. Not a big deal. Almost at 20 on Granada. Hey, and we got this. Nice. So more literacy for the clergy and more possible clerics. Were we at the literacy cap on our clergy? I think we were, right? But we established it's kind of difficult to tell. You got to go demography. And then here. No. And then here. Here. There we go. Literacy. Nice. And it is rising up to 55%. Excellent. Good stuff. That will help with our conversion, our assimilation. Be good for everything. Nice. I think I am also going to automate trade. I'm sure it's inefficient. But I was just clicking the selected stuff anyway. So let's just let that do that. Oh, they've prepared. We wish them good luck and Godspeed. Can I see them on the map? I think I can. Look. Off they go. I assume that's them. Ooh, and we have trade advantage. based on our maritime presence. Cool. There's no privateers here yet. I assume that's them, but the ship is not moving relative to game speed, so I don't think that's actually how they work. Here it is. It's going to take 2 years, and they're exploring. Open the exploration tab. They're making 0.21 progress every month, I assume. Cool. Going to cost us a whole bunch of money. There is exploration missions, 8.8. Can I change spending? I can, which changes the monthly progress linearly. Okay, cool. Oh, hey, look, and it changed. I just pointed at the screen. It changes the chart. That's funny. So they're currently exploring what's beyond this line, I guess is what that's showing me. It's going to take them 2 years. Cool. Veneration of the Virgin Mary. Influence or stability with the Papal States don't like us. I will absolutely take the stability. I don't feel like the Papal States' opinion matters. As long as it doesn't go negative, and then we would probably risk excommunication or something, but we'll see. Okay. I've got to like not spend money. Let's have a kind of nest egg of, I don't know, 200 ducats or something. I'm really excited to see. I guess we don't get new maps, do we, until they actually get home. I remember now. So we're going to have to wait and see what's down there. That's cool, that. It adds suspense. We are at our cap on diplomatic actions. Spying on Morocco. Seems prudent. Let's do that. Yeah, these rebel movements, including some noble insurgents now, are gaining ground. But the nobles they're cheering up. So it should be okay. Should I automate? I think you can automate like the opening and closing of buildings. Let the game produce new buildings to cover needs. Allow spending other than 1,000. I don't want to do that. Open and close buildings based on profitability. I don't think I want to do that. You know what I haven't found yet is policies. They're in laws. No, these are different laws. Where are the policies? Let handle laws and policies. Policies. Each law has one or more policies to pick from. Okay. The law is censorship. The policy is limited censorship. I see. I see. Okay. And we're still in the progress of implementing the forced slave conversion policy, which is a policy within the slave conversion law. I'm with it. So the laws, I think, don't do anything on their own. They just allow certain policies. Okay. Interesting. We're still decentralizing by default, by the way. I wonder if there's anything else I can do there. Building roads rights is quite an impactful one. No, hang on. We want things that lower the value. So communal lands is the problem. Noble power down. Serious centralization efforts. Decentralization efforts, rather, though. So maybe we should get rid of that. It gives 32% power to the nobles. It's going to cost us 36 stability to revoke. Jesus. That seems bad. Well, we can't afford that right now. But we can work on that. That could be maybe our next attempt when we get our stability up. But that's going to be a while before we get our stability up that high. Yeah, we definitely can't see what this guy's up to. I think we still get events about him though. But I guess we get events while he's in the Terra Incognita. Speaking of which, I didn't really look at the Terra Incognita yet. Looks kind of nice. It's no Romeo and Taxes Terra Incognita, but it's cool. It's cool, for sure. I wonder if it would have been faster to go here because we already know about this path. Although we can see we've got trade winds against us going through this area. So, all right, got the claim on them? Yes. Okay, so now create casus belli, religious war. Ah, yes, but it takes time, doesn't it? And we have to choose a target, which I assume is what the war goal will be. Just make it Granada, that's fine. And they start working on it, and it goes straight to 4%. No, monthly progress is 4%, so it gives 1 monthly tick. Okay, so it doesn't take very long to fabricate. What controls that monthly progress? That's not hoverable, apparently. The freaking game crashed. All right. Thank you for watching, everybody. I'll see you in the next episode. We got through the whole episode, though, with no crashes, so we'll take that as a win. I played the game for, must have been, I don't know, maybe 10 hours between this episode and the last. Not actually playing a campaign, just kind of clicking around, exploring stuff. 0 crashes. 0 crashes in that time. I'll see you in the next one. We'll persevere. They're still doing patches and stuff. So, and I'm calling that series apart a wrap. There, rather. We're playing England instead. I've combined all the 3 episodes together into one big video so that it's not as disappointing. England series will begin tomorrow, probably, unless you're a channel member, in which case you can watch the whole thing now. Enjoy. Thanks for watching. Sorry to end this one early, but the Castile one was just too buggy, and we switched to England instead.